All right, thanks so much, man. It's 11 o'clock. What a great show we've had so far here today. You know, oil's not really doing a whole heck of a lot right now, so we'll hold on to this and see if there is a downside push. Looks like it's trying to happen right now for us. We're short at 106.10 right here on USO, looking for lower, of course. And we'll see if we can get it. But good show so far, Obi. We're back at 2 p.m. We've got the midday ready to rock and roll for you. I heard Sharif talking about hymns, so we'll see a little bit of that trading happening there as well today. A couple other names, ASNS, and a few different names that they will talk about. Make sure you do get the votes in the chat. And great short there, obviously, on Oracle, as Oracle's now breaking
right
low
back
again.
Lower
here for
could
Oracle.
Be the gift that keeps on giving.
It might be the gift that keeps on giving. We all know Adara's opinion on Oracle as well. So, all right, thanks so much for watching. We'll be back at 2 p.m. All right, let's go. There it is, man. See you at 2 over to the midday.
All right. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That is your boy, Joey Options. I'm Sharif. And we got to say hello to everybody, Joey. Guys, ACXP is going, so I'm just going to have to say hello, but ACXP, it be going. Mr. Leahy, we got Mike PD Ryder, Stuart Varun, Daily Day Trade, Hangry Wife. She hungry. Shout out to Vancouver, V-City. We got Trust Fund Baby, 1320 Wolf, Dino Vinceri, Huri. We got Jacques, we got Aswan Wasim, DAP 420, Bud Monster joining us from jolly old England, my man. Buffalo Soldier, Los Polos Hermanos, Bastone, Adventures, JT, Soberer, what does that mean? Green Day Dean, shout out to Pizza Gang. Aero Sen, Andrew Chow and Witty, the Pooh Guru, I love that one. Anthony and Sky, shout out to Harto, Heart Media and Lolo, Minnesota Trader and Omar Oshiri, Love Cool, shout out to Leanne, I know that's you, Leanne. AT Nerd, we got Stone Broke, Hill Dog, WS Lone, Don Sharifo, always makes me chuckle, M. Kelsey, Roof Ninja, and who else, man? We got Cubis Mo and Mr. Panda, Mr. P Panda. Don't forget that letter, Joey.
What's up, Mr. Leahy? Probably one of the greatest Canadian characters of all time. For those who don't know, maybe you have to look up Trailer Park Boys, in my opinion, one of the funniest shows. Next tip, people just do nothing. All right, guys, let's get right into things. That's English humor for you, Sharif. Extremely dry.
Love it,
it's the best, in my opinion. All right, guys, one trade today didn't work out. We were looking for the continuation here in the long with the TQQs, and it didn't rock and roll for us. So we had that pullback. Inverse correlation with USO. We were selling a little bit at this point, and I'm like, all right, let's see if we can get a test of the high of the day, maybe head into 51. Hasn't been the case so far. So I've been sitting on my hands, just one trade here today, and that is it. But aside from that, guys, what am I looking at from a daily and what I had on my list today? We had ORCX, that is going to be a leverage play there on Oracle for the long, but we didn't take anything. Congratulations to Obi on that short. A nice look off for those highs. And then we had TSLL, SLV, which we kicked to the curve essentially, and the TQQQ is always in our peripheral vision. Now, we had a nice strong move in Tesla, opening up around 401 with a high of around 417. Supply zone at 420. We couldn't quite get there yet, but we have yet to break the volume-weighted average price on today's intraday session. So maybe we'll get some form of continuation in strength. I got my eyes on USO and the TQQs just due to the fact of that inverse correlation I was just referring to. And then we have, obviously, Oracle. Oracle strong, gapping up. Earnings report, you see that nice, strong 5-minute drive off of the print, and then sure enough, you get a little bit of a continuation here today, but starting to sell and come back in, heading towards some key pre-market lows. We can pull up the actual underlying asset. Other than that, been relatively cool for me here today, as I mentioned, and that's it. And we'll be patient. We'll wait for some high quality opportunities. I wanted a specific target on this one, so I'm like, all right, let's see if we can if we're going to put on a trade, we want to try to eliminate our past couple of days of losses. That hasn't been necessarily the case just yet. But never count yourself out until the end of the day. So that's the narrative of my session. Oracle, we'll head over to yesterday and what we had there, a nice strong 5-minute opening break. break, climbs up to 165. And this morning, we were talking about that supply zone at 170. Momentum drives us up into 172, and then eventually we start to come back in a little bit here, a little bit more. Before we send it over to our boy Sharif, I want to point out one more thing here on TSLA, and that is going to be on the options chain. So a little bit of a supply zone expiring this week at that 420 mark, and that's what we want to keep an eye out on. So 420, 20,900, that's going to be the largest that we've seen that are out of the money. Those 410s are in the money currently, but things can change. We're only a point away from that.
All right, ACXP going. What's the high? $5 on the dot. I've got 87, only one profit taker so far. 2R, 529. 3R 549. That's all well and good. We got to clear 5. 5 is an obvious area of resistance. Keeping an eye on the 5-second chart on my top screen, trying to spot areas of liquidity. I'm going to stop out if it breaks 479, okay? So that's my look there, knowing full well that that $5 area could be a tough area to clear. So keeping an eye, there's 480, continuing to watch. Here comes the breakdown now, and we're going to stop out here. Let's get back in with some more. Let's get ready for this one. If it finds support at 470, there is a buyer previously at 470. Let's see if he steps in again. Continuing to watch over here on this one, looking for a move back up on ACXP. I'm speaking, guys, sorry, about ACXP, up 65% and change. There is an interesting area here. I'd like to be able to kind of maneuver into this one. Let's go ahead and do just that. Sorry. No, there we go, 469. We'll give that one a little bit of room for set amount. So let's see what this one has to offer us. What did we get? We got 80s, there's 85. There's gonna likely be resistance at this level here because this is gonna be a lower high. So if we drop down below 470, that is where we found buyers before. If we lose that level, that is the end of the trade. Keeping a close eye on this one, as this one can turn around in a hurry. It is extended, but I was trying to see if we could catch the break through 5. Doesn't set up this way. It's fine with me, right? Let me just make sure that I have my stop at that level, and then we're gonna give it all the way down to here. Good. And we'll put in for that many shares. Continuing to watch here, want to see if the buyers are going to step up at 470 again. Right now, we're getting a buyer at about 475. We're not making any higher highs. Locally, there's resistance at 85 to 86. If we can clear 85 to 86, I think we can have another clean attempt at 5. If we lose 70, I think we're going to go much lower, likely to be to about 450 or so. Their breakout area on my chart is around 440. That's where the price action resistance was. But you got to give it to 4. You got to keep an eye on 450. Yeah, this is going to lose it in a hurry unless it really catches a bid here. Here comes 470. Let's see if that buyer steps up again. Right now, there it is. So we got stopped out again. All right, so we're going to have to set up in a different way. Let's wait now. Let's see if it breaches prior bar. Prior bar on the 5 is 460. That's not an area that I earmarked. I earmarked 470 buyer, but there is prior bar low, which takes us exactly to 460. Prior bar high, which we needn't concern ourselves with at the moment because we've already touched 5. As I mentioned, $5, but just for your own information, prior bar high, 487.5. So this one is on a bit of a prolonged pullback, so we're going to have to give this one a little bit of room. Again, I like the 450 to 440 level. Let's bring in the black side charts over here to see if we can kind of get a better idea. This is the price action support that I see. It also overlaps with the 10 EMA on the 5, so you get that 1005 bar that ends up being a topping tail candle, but it did make its way up to 40. And then the 10 EMA is also at 40, but we need to be alive to the $half buyers. That's all predicated upon it losing prior bar high. So that's what I'm going to be looking at here locally because I know that this one can catch a bit of a bid. As I mentioned, prior bar low 460. So let's see if this one can continue making a downtrend or what its situation is going to be. So prior area low, I should tell you, is the buyers stepped in at 466 for now. That is for now. Let's see if they come back in again. 466, which prior bar low is 460. So continuing to watch that, Joey. I'm going to be looking to set up either at close to that 460 area for it to hold prior bar low. If it doesn't, I'm looking 450 to 440. I've got more to talk about, but I definitely want to keep an eye out on this one because it's a fast mover. We'll get to the other ones in a minute.
All right, man. Good stuff there. I was looking at OCGN. My boy Toby pointed out. Typically, what I say with these ones, OCGN, yeah, man, this is a rocket ship. No questioning that. $1.83 up to $2.31. But you can see that we run into liquidity issues. And for me, I need a little bit more liquidity. Not that it really matters, right? Like if you eliminate the price, this is some good PA, if you ask me. We head over to Oracle because we've been talking to that. We'll be talking enough about this name throughout the intraday session. A nice indecision print right there. But I don't know if we're going to bounce, right? Because we still have this downtrend still fully intact. And I think that needs to be taken into consideration. Now, I was looking at Apple earlier this morning. I'm like, oh, okay, that's a nice print off of the lows. Maybe this will give a little boost to the market because we had NVDA climbing, but then we had a couple of the larger participants, the Microsofts and the Apples, moving to the south side, and that really dragged the market down with it. USO, still relatively choppy. I know Katina Man short from 106s approximately, so nice work there on that one. We're heading towards the volume-weighted average price, but I'm looking for that inverse correlation. If USO is going to tank, or I shouldn't say tank, but sell off, I want to see a nice little move in the Nasdaq, but we're not currently seeing that as we bounce off of the volume-weighted average price and head a little bit lower. So I'm just on the scan right now. I know Mike Peter Ryder is always hitting the scanners as well. So look at the big boys. Amazon putting in a new low of the day, Apple heading towards that neck of the woods, and then we have Google hovering around the highs, but starting to come back in as well. So we definitely have to take that into consideration and account for what those larger participants are doing. QuantumScape and QUBT, I was just going through the charting last night. So what I typically do is, I remember I would spend like countless hours just like game planning after, but I kind of cooled down on that because I found if I'm a little more easier on my game planning and more relaxed and not so antsy about waiting and looking for a precise position. So what I found myself doing as of late is I have my list. I'll go through the intraday price action at the end of the day, and then I'll just look at patterns, because essentially that's what trading is, right? You got to just, even though I was doing that before, but it was a lot more intensive, Sharif. Now I just scan through it, like, okay, there's that, there's a nice indecision print. So instead of me spending multiple hours and then coming in and being like, oh, I can't miss this, I can't miss that. Now it's just about an hour or so I spend. But there goes the Nasdaq heading right towards the LOD, guys. Not too good of a look. And what has silver been up to? There was a nice pre-market move that I was looking at, but now we're giving up the majority of that. But you can see that the Q's really starting to tank, and it's most definitely being led by these participants here. There goes Amazon, just absolutely blowing past that LOD, so not too good of a look. Oracle was looking for a long, but we have now breached some of these key support levels and continuing to tank. So we got our eyes on some potential trades, but we're not going to be too quick to pull the trigger here.
All right, man. Setting up for a couple of different trades on ACXP. I'm looking for a dip trade, which it looks like I'm not going to get. I put it a little bit above the $0.50. It looks like it's defending it for now. The low of this current candle is 58. I had it at 52. I also see resistance at around that 78 penny level. Let's see if that one ends up coming in. I have a breakout trade possibly for the breach of 482. So if I don't get the dip trade, which it doesn't look like I'm going to get for the moment, who knows, I have that breakout trade into 482, which I think gives us another attempt at 5. I see a local area of resistance around 75 to 78, but I don't want to be caught on a wick long, right? Just it ends up wicky and then drops. So I'm putting it for a little bit higher than that 78 penny level. Here comes 61 again. Close to the current bar low. I'm talking about the 1110 bar on the 5-minute chart, the low of which is 58. The buyers keep stepping in at 60 and 58. What I'm looking at on my top screen is my 5-second chart, okay? And I'm trying to spot buyers and sellers as one would typically do on the level 2. But as I've mentioned in the past, when you look at the level 2, obviously it's very effective, but it's very transient. So if there was a buyer at a specific area or a seller at a specific area and you move away from that price, you're no longer going to see what was there or what wasn't. Whereas if you're looking on a shorter term time frame, you see the price rejected 458 and then it doesn't delete, right? So continuing to watch, we opened up a new bar now. We are on the 11:15 bar now, okay? Let's watch. The buyers are still stepping in at around 60 with a low of the prior bar at 58. Current bar is like few seconds old. Low 61, high 67, so undecided. Nothing for me to do at this point other than to watch and to wait. Continuing to do that. I'm not gonna chase this, nor am I going to take aggressive positions. I have a bias that the small caps, the last, I want to say, essentially since the war started, so to speak, they've lacked a little follow through, a little bit. I would say this week a little bit more than last week, okay? In the lacking of follow through. Okay, watching, here we go, 472, a trend change coming in, selling right at that $0.75, looking for that move above 78, looking to go long, 82, packing the patience. We're holding prior bar low, mind you. This current candle is green, but it has not breached prior bar high. Prior bar high 72. Now we're at prior bar high. So we've matched it 472 with a higher low. So there's a seller on the 5-second chart, very clear seller at 72. And you can see multiple candles rejecting 472 over and over and over. So we know for a fact that there's a larger seller at 72. Let's see if we can shake him. 72 showing up again here on the time and sales, unable to shake that level. Yeah, at least for now. You could get in here, you could give it to prior bar, but you haven't proved that you can shake the seller. And there it comes down, and now we're long here at 50. It has to hold 39. Okay, that's the 10 EMA. This is looking into an aggressive retracement. It probably caught a lot of people long there as it matched that prior area high. So we have 52s on now. Let's continue to watch. Let's see if this one recovers, turning into a doji candle now, equidistant, bottom wick and lower wick. We're holding some shares here. So the first area I'm gonna look to wet the beak at is prior bar high breach. Okay, prior bar high breach takes us to 472, Joseph. Let's see what we can get, and we won't get upset. Shout out to my man Neil who's having a time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here, Sharif. We're not going to let the market get to us here from an emotional basis, that's for sure. So I'm looking at a long, nice indecision print right here on volume on AMD. And yesterday, I was going to take this opportunity right here, but I never pulled the trigger. So if it happened once, happened twice, and happened on a couple other occasions, maybe we can just put ourselves in the right place at the right time here, considering strong opening drive, channel to the downside. But one thing that's kind of keeping me alarmed is this consecutive lower highs. So this is fully intact, but we can get rocking and rolling if we're fortunate enough to sit on the backside of this trend. First things first, we have to get back up there. As soon as we breach the low of the day, I'm using AMDL, so it's literally 10 cents worth of risk for me. If we get stopped out, 68 is going to be our out right there. Relatively tight considering. It will put us just below this this prior wick low. So, well, let's see, man. Let's see if we can finally get something to start printing for us. Boom.
There goes ACXP. Here we go. Into 80. I'm going to go long at 82. Added into 82. There it goes into 95. Let's freaking go, baby. There it goes through 5. All right. Calm the hell down. All right, here we go.
To me on the me
I was saying calm the hell down,
I thought
right?
you were saying me, man. I was saying the bang for you.
No, bro, I'm telling myself. I wouldn't say that to you guys, man. Come on now.
Man, I won't hit the bang for you anymore.
No, man, come on. Don't make me look out like the bad guy here, man. All right, man, here we go. We're dancing here, Joey. Topping tail candle, big move. That's a bit of an aggressive retracement, but boom. Nah, man, I wouldn't say that
bro,
to you.
Wendy's,
Are you crazy,
Wendy's,
bro?
man. Why do you gotta say that
like
stuff,
that, man? I don't talk like that, man. You made me feel bad, Joey.
Why would you feel bad? If you didn't say anything, no reason to.
Boom. Yeah, I am self-coaching random rally. There it goes. We got top wick for now. I'm loving my entries at the $0.50, added at 80 aggressively, through 5, into 510. That's a good trade. But what, as Obi would say, what the hell is the next trade? We're going to keep an eye out on that one. 510 high. This candle is super bamboozling. Goes through 5, breaches prior bar high, takes out the entire day high. It actually breached prior bar low. That's how your boy went long. Ooh. Super, super bamboozling. Here comes into 98 again, Joey. Into 5. Let's see. Can there be continuation? It's a 510 high. All right, it spent all of no time above 5. So we know for a fact, at least for now, 5 is still that resistance level. I don't care if it went up to 510. You can see the selling. Here it comes again into 503, continuing to watch. Let's see, can we add into this one above the 510 high for continuation into 5.5? Possibly even 6. Let's see if we can get that. If we breach 510, I think that that's a bullish signal. Let's watch here, Joey. We're going to take less risk at these highs than we did at the lows. What do you got?
All right, man. Beautiful stuff. All right, so yeah, this is what we're looking at here. I mean, AMD, not really doing too much. I feel this one's going to be a little bit more of a slow burner. IBIT, nice indecision prints below the volume-weighted average price, and you can see that we're bouncing. We took a couple attempts on this thing yesterday. No continuation in that bullish move, and I mean, that's consecutive. That's over. So what time do we start rallying at here? 10:15, and we start to cool off at 11. So that's a solid 45 minutes right there with no red candles. Let's see if we can head right back into that kind of momentum. This is what we want from Bitcoin, right? Have we based out at 35.64 on IBIT? What is that around on Bitcoin, 67 or whatever it may be? But we want to start seeing some signs of strength and the selling pressure starting to cool off a little bit, all right? We just don't want it one-sided. It may take some time if we're fortunate enough to get a squeeze, but we're still down substantially off of that high. Man, oh man, I was telling Sharif and a couple other people just the amount of unrealized gains. But it gave you so many opportunities to get out. I did sell a little bit of my position, but I don't think it was for very much. I mean, it's better than nothing. So whatever I had gained in the past couple of years, just boom, slowly dwindled and fell through my fingers here on IBIT. But there goes AMDL. We'll take this all day, every day. All right, there's no issue. AMDL. We're gonna try to diamond hands this until $13. I don't want to speak too loud because they're listening. So. Gotta see what if you put
there was someone who used to sit right in that chair
and say the exact same thing.
And say the exact same thing.
I mean, if a lot of people think that they're listening, maybe,
yeah, you don't know,
that
bro.
they are.
And
right?
now with AI,
yeah,
let's
they're
cut the crap,
definitely listening.
man.
I remember when the floor was here. I used to sit beside Justin. Do you remember?
I remember Justin.
Remember Justin?
Big boy Justin.
And we would talk about this stuff, and we were like, shh. And like we like write things down because they're listening.
What?
Man.
That's crazy.
You gotta write it down, man.
That's
just in
crazy.
case they're listening. So
how's he doing? You keep in touch with that guy?
No. Last time I seen Josh.
He's cousins with Josh, right?
Yeah. Last time I seen Josh was a little meetup over there at the Firkin.
The Firkin.
Yeah. So aside from that guy,
Joshua's doing good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think he's doing pretty good, man.
He used to play ball at my church. He played basketball at my church. Little punk, he didn't even pay, right? Because you got to rent out.
He was coaching.
Well, I don't know. It was like an anecdotal story. He's like, yeah, they're pretty lax at your church with the payment. I was like,
that's good,
bro?
man. You need the lax. You need the lax payment there.
We broke, bro.
We can squeeze in by all means. But there it is, guys. We did break that trend. Now let's see if that momentum can be sustained. We do pull back aggressively. Not always the positive sign, but a nice strong rebound here. And that's what we want to see as the Nasdaq is finding a little bit of a bottom. And that's what we want, a nice pump up. That can lead to some nice strong momentum here in AMD. Let's zoom out here because what we got going on, a channel to the downside. I mean, whatever we want to call this, let's hope that we can break it and then maybe head back towards that high of the day. So that's what I got going on here on AMDL. A nice grab off of this indecision print. I know my boy Gorev and Los Polios been crushing Oracle. Congratulations to you guys. And if you've been on a solid green streak or having a solid green day, keep it up. And I wish nothing but the best for you. Put in those PRs, guys.
All right. I heard the call. So now we have to go to Adara.
There is a post from Elon Musk. This is like 5 minutes ago. I'm seeing it circulate now. I'm just gonna read it out here. It's from Elon Musk. Keep an eye with Tesla. He's saying that, quote, Macro Hard or Digital Optimus is a joint XAI and Tesla project tied to Tesla's XAI investment pact. It's going to be run on Tesla's AI4 hardware. It's going to be priced at $650 with, quote, relatively frugal use of XAI NVIDIA systems. So Macro Hard announcement from Elon Musk on Watch. That is what he has named it, guys. I'm not making that up. Back to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I did look at OCGN. It's right here, OcuGen. It's up 30%. It's on the side chart. Sorry, guys. But when you got a runner like ACXP, it's like when you're at the blackjack table. If you got to go to the bathroom and you're hot, you wet your pants, okay? Because pants are going to be like $50 to change, but you know what I mean? I'm exaggerating for a fact.
I remember years ago, quick side quest story here. I was in my early 20s at the time, and we had a work party in Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was around New Year's time, and I was on fire on the blackjack table. Anyways, everybody from the work left and went to the club.
Yeah.
And I just stayed at the blackjack table. And I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay.
It was a blur that night. I was in a blur. I wake up.
Why were you in a blur, Joey?
We had a lot of beverages that evening. And I wake up, and my pockets were just full of Casino-Rama chips. And I'm like, yes, that was a great time, man.
That's excellent, because usually it's the other way around. It's usually money's missing. You look through the debit card and the transactions. All right,
exactly.
We got to pause for a second. There's breaking news at the big desk.
It involves Rivian. Like minutes after a Tesla story, we get a story for RIVN. 2 minutes ago, RJ Scaringe posting on X about Mind Robotics, $500 million financing. And I guess the point of this, though, here is that RJ Scaringe, CEO of Rivian, saying that the company is building AI-powered robots, models, hardware, and deployment infrastructure. It's going to be performing real tasks in real plants at real scale. So big robotics investment here, it looks like, for RIVN. They did get a little bit of a spike off of this. It spiked like 10, 15 pennies, which for RIVN, not bad. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that. All right, guys, continuing to watch ACXP over here. I'm looking to go long on the break. So it's a 510 high. I'm looking to go long a little bit higher than that for a breakout trade. I don't like pulling back here. I don't like what I'm seeing necessarily as well on the 5-second chart, especially with this consolidation with lower highs south of 5. This is what I'm looking at. This is my 5-second chart that I keep on the top screen. Obviously, you know, not everybody's going to want to employ a 5-second chart. Not everybody trades these type of stocks and requires one, but I think it's still pretty useful for other names and other types of stocks, just based upon the fact that you're able to spot areas of local support and resistance. And so I think it's directly applicable to other trades as well, but I know not everybody likes it. Anyway, so we got a 2-candle red pullback, which is not good on the 5, of course. But the thing about these are they've got a lot of bottoming tails. 2 candles in a row, these bottoming tails, basically showing you buyers are picking this up in the low to mid 80s. There's obviously a lot of buying in and around that level. So I'm packing the patience. I want to get in, but I want that better setup. And I think that if we clear 5 by a nice amount, we take out the prior high, that could set up something here. So I've put in a breakout trade. We'll see what we get on that one. Now, separately, OCGN, you guys asked about that one, and I was alive to it, and I'm still alive to it. I like a hold up here, possibly. It's a 4-candle consolidation right now on this bad boy. There's a buy zone. My buy zone is essentially from the volume weighted average price a little bit below 215, all the way up to about a little bit below 2.25. The reason I say that is because you've got a couple of bull flags here of note. You got the initial bull flag. I shouldn't say it's a big one. The initial one, 9 o'clock, consolidate for 15 minutes, breakout again at 9:50, right? There's bull flag number 2, and now the consolidation component of bull flag number 2 has a bit of a range, a much wider range than bull flag number 1. 224-ish to the high side, and I want to say 213-ish at the closing print to the low side. So that creates a bit of a consolidation zone, right, for the bull flag. So if that's the case, then I want to pick it up somewhere there for possible support. That's my thinking on OCGN. If it doesn't hold up there, then it doesn't hold up. We give up, right? Well, of course not. We're going to look at the next trade. But all these ones are pulling back, okay, as you can see. None of them are going. None of them. TSSI, NBIG, these are these are ETFs for bigger names. NBIG, HIMZ, obviously NVTX. These are leveraged ETFs, these three making an L shape right here. That's what's fine. TSSI breaking down. OCGN on a bit of a pullback. ORCX, which is obviously another an ETF for Oracle, pulling back as well. VELO. This one is looking okay. It's got a bit of a consolidation area low over here at around 14 3/4, but it's not exactly appetizing either. So I'm not really, enthusiastic about going long. Let's see what you guys are talking about. All right, let's bring in the side chart. Look at some of these names. ANSN says drop systems. ANSN, here we go. Nope, that doesn't work, brother. ANSN is not a ticker. So tag me again, let me know what you're talking about. Oh, he put it, ASNS. I remember this one from yesterday. How we doing? Oh, how you doing? This is a nice one, thank you. Tissy just lost its spot on the side chart. ASNS. ASNS, there we go. That's a good looking one here. South of $1, of course, but the setup on this one is quite nice. It does look like there's a lot of selling with a bit of a possible flat top in and around, I want to say 60-ish pennies, but it obviously goes higher than 60, 62.28 area high. So be on the lookout for that. I do like this one though, not a bad look. Let's throw this one up on the side here. ASNS. This one's up 63, almost 63%. Here comes looking to break out again. Thank you for that one, Drop Systems. Didn't have eyes on that because it's south of 85 pennies. And I probably need to change that now that I'm trading these ones a lot more. Here comes into the high of the day. So what's this been respectful of? Well, it seems to be finding a lot of support at the 20. And you can see that here, 935, 940 holds up at the 20. It does a more prolonged pullback, mind you, 1035 to about 1055, holds up at the 20. So to me, at least for now, the money fills are at the 20, in and around the 20. Now, you could do one of two things. You could be, pretty risk averse and wait for the 20 EMA on the 5 to come in, currently showing 55 1/4 pennies. Or you can try to get the money fills, right? And we often talk about these money fills being between the 10 and the 20. That would take you to around 56, maybe 57 pennies in that area with a stop below the 20. So you don't risk all that much. I would think a good risk to reward ratio here on ASNS. But we got to pause for a second, Joey. We got to go back up to the big desk.
What's up with Wendy's tendies today, man? I don't know. Anyways,
I suspended him for, well, there you go. If he's going to continue to act a little crazy.
Yeah, he's having a bad day. He's a regular, man. We're a little lenient, but just chill out, man.
Take it easy, brother.
Take it easy.
I put you in a timeout earlier. Don't make me do a little bit of a
again, just
there.
Relax a little bit.
Here we go.
Go touch grass.
Well, leave
him alone right now. He's in a bad mood, but he's typically a good
sport.
sport.
Well, I mean, it's tough when you lose money.
Yeah, well, as I said to him, you can't say that stuff,
brother.
man. It's all right, man. All right, we're going to Adara, right?
Yes, sir.
All
Crypto.
Not too much to say here because Bitcoin is basically flat on the day, opening around just below 70,000, high of day 71,000, low of day 69,000. So we're moving in like a $2,000 range here, 1,000 in either direction. Very tight trading here for BTC. Take a look here at Ethereum, see if there's anything of interest over here in ETH. ETH also pretty flat in the day, down 0.1% right now, open around 2037, high. Like this is literally within a 100-point range, sorry. So like between that 2,000 and 2,100, not breaching in either direction. Let's take a look here at XRP. XRP slightly red, down about 0.75%, which given some of these other moves, that's going to be relatively significant. We'll take a look at Solana. Solana also is going to be down about 1%. So it looks like some of these other crypto names that are not Bitcoin or Ethereum faring a little bit worse. But again, both BTC and ETH exactly flat right now. There are some comments coming through from Emmanuel Macron, president of France. Nothing super of note here, but just be aware they're happening. I'm also seeing a Lucid could potentially be on watch here. It looks like Nvidia just released an update. We know Lucid and Nvidia do have those robo-taxi or I guess autonomous vehicle deal. Jensen Huang reportedly had said that this Alpamayo technology was ready to scale from L2 plus to L4 robo-taxis. This comment was reposted by like another source. This could be just recirculation of older comments, but either way, LCID did move a little bit off of this. Again, circulation of comments, I can't even tell when these were made by Jensen Huang about potential scaling here for that Alpameo technology. LCID has reacted a little bit. Back to you.
No, I didn't say that. Mr. Leahy, you're absolutely hilarious. Yeah, just a little drinky poo, calm the nerves down. Bailey saying instead of touching grass, put the grass up in flames, essentially, and you'll be a little bit more calm. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, we're going to ignore him for now. Anyways, 82, we had an aggressive pullback right now in AMDL. We're starting to recover a little bit here, guys. As NVDA was sliding, we put it a new low of the day here on the TQQs. But now we're starting to get a rebound. So if any name in the market is going to find its way back to the top side, I think I'm going to pick one of these ones. AMD with the bounce. We didn't breach this indecision candle low. That's something positive, all right? So we're holding on to it. I was a little bit worried about how aggressive the pullback was. Never mind the leverage derivative I'm using. It's just that as you punch through this, this trend line, you see the volume pick up. But then it was met immediately by some defense. So always keep an eye out on your volume by time profile. If we're playing that breakout and we're playing the break of trends, we obviously want to see that effort and result really step in. And then if it's met by an immediate defense, it can be alarming, but you don't also want to have analysis paralysis. But there goes the market heading lower. And I know someone was mentioning, hey, when are we going to long this oil play? And I think it's kind of been the narrative. Substantial volume prints right here, and then steady higher lows. So, I mean, it's in play. Until you're on the backside of this, maybe the market continues to slide here on the intraday session. Strong drives out of the open in Tesla, but now we're starting to head back towards that 5-minute print high. So we're going to keep an eye out on that one. Oracle still looks like it wants to sell a little bit and head towards this pre-market low around 162. Other than that, man, this is our second trade. We're aiming, we have a higher target. They heard me. I told you guys, as soon as I mentioned this, they're like, we're going to send this one a little bit lower. But we're sitting right around the break even right now, a strong rebound, couple of pennies. And I'm not going to add to this position or anything along those lines. So AMDL up 2.4% here today. Is this a 2X or a 3? I'm curious. I don't even know what vehicle I'm trading. But anyways, that's essentially irrelevant as we're looking at the overall market. It's not good. Every uptick in oil could mean a potential downtick here in the Nasdaq, so we have to keep an eye on that. Now, moving forward, let's go over a couple of names. What's gold been up to? A little choppy here today, guys. You reject this previous pre-market high and then come back into a lower zone. Same with silver, choppy. It's not in play like it was a couple of months ago, and I've mentioned this on multiple occasions. This was fun and smooth sailing. This, not so much fun, Sharif, for me personally. This was a good time trading SLV. And then for all my volatility writers out here, nice workout on that. Nice work on that one. That worked really, really well. Now, Ethereum, how have you been performing today? We'll head over to the 5-minute print because I thought I seen an indecision. Well, I did see an indecision print on IBIT. Is that going to be correlated here with Ethereum? Now, where is my IBIT? And let's figure out what this bad boy is doing. Okay, so we reject that one, but another 5-minute print off of these lows with substantial volume right here. If this closed green, I would like it much more, but there could be a potential trade right here on IBIT, Sharif.
All right, man, I'm continuing to watch ACXP. I've set up a dip trade for ASNS. I'm going to let that one trigger if it's going to. But ACXP is having a lot of trouble with 5. So we have a double top at 510. That's fine. There's only one candle that's actually closed above 5, and it's the one that's immediately prior to this current one. The 1130 candle did close out at the high of 504. It was immediately followed by a red candle, which is losing the bid. Here we go again, and it just breached prior bar low. That's an aggressive move down there for ACXP. Very, very volatile, but there is a consolidation zone. You can kind of see this off where I got in initially at 60. I was in a lot lower. I was in at 52, so I got the money fill there. But most of the, if not all the prints have closed above 60, 460 that is. So this one is ranging right now. ACXP is the one I'm talking about. It looks like as if my ASNS trade it's not going to come in, sadly. I put it at 57.5 pennies for size. It didn't come in either to the 10, which is you know, which not where I actually had my order. I had my dip trade in between the 10 and the 20 at 57.5. The 10 currently is at 58, I want to say, and 3/4, and it didn't even touch that. The current bar low is 59 1/3. So it holds the 10 like a glove. It's trading near the high. I'm talking about ASNS up 64%. Both of the names I'm trading today start with the letter A, right? So it could get a little confusing, but let's continue to watch here. It's about to take out the prior high. ASNS is all gas, no brakes. 64 penny high, currently showing 62 and change, 62 1/3, but it looks like it's having a lot of trouble closing anything above 62. So certainly the shorts and or the profit takers are looking at that level. I'm flipping to the 5-second chart on my top screen here to kind of get an idea of where the buyers are stepping in and where the sellers are stepping in, you know, habitually. It looks, as I mentioned, 62 what is a bit of a tough level, but here we are. We're at 63. We're about to take out the high of the day, 64. It's ASNS. I'm just going to call this ASNS. ASNS's world. We're all just living in it. There is a move into 64 again. Good strength on this one. Yeah, I'm not going to chase this down here. Now that, you know, it kind of shown its hand a little bit, we're going to be looking for a pullback into the 10 EMA. So I'm going to do two things here. I'm probably going to get half the position a little bit ahead of the 10 EMA because that's what the last candle did and didn't quite make it down into the 10 EMA. And then I'm going to leave another order for the other half of my risk. Again, probably closer to the 20 to get those money fills, with the ultimate out being below the volume weighted average price, which is about 55. So that's going to be my move on ASNS. Let's see what this one does, what this one has to offer. I also want to mention Ocugen, OCGN, is coming in pretty quickly here to the volume weighted average price at around 215. This could be an entry. Remember, my bias was essentially from 2.25 to 215 as a buy zone, given the bull flag range had that about 10 penny range. So be on the lookout here. OCGN could be another mover, and it could catch a bid. Let's see if it does. I'm probably going to get in with a tight stop below the volume weighted average price. Now, that could be trouble. Let me tell you why. VWAP may not be the area where you want to have your out. Look at this candle low at 10.15, the low of which there is 211. It's a little bit below VWAP. I don't know how I feel about that, but let's watch to see what Ocugen does. If it closes green, breaches prior bar high, we needn't concern ourselves with that. We'll put it below VWAP. But for now, Ocugen is in wait and see mode here, Joey, as we wait for that to set up, but it's in the right area. So that's a start.
Yeah, Turk Tank, man. To be honest with you, I'm not a coffee head like that. I don't go to all the little shops and see what they got going on. Yeah, Los Polios, nice little look here on AMZN. Indecision print right around these lows, 211 to 212. I mean, I seen what you said, but don't say that out loud because, like we mentioned not too long ago, they're listening, and you have to, you don't want to put that out there. Palantir, how have you been performing today? Nothing substantial here. A steady downtrend, and what I was referring to earlier, Los Polios, here on Amazon is the same narrative with what we got going on with AMD. The longer it takes for us to break out, the less I like it. You see how quick some of the typical breakouts happen? Right, so this is a counter trend move, and you have to be willing to accept it. It may take some time, but you have that base being formed. You widen your stop. I like how you have these consecutive higher lows here on the lower time frame, and then you just draw your trend line. If it does breach, then maybe it might head a little bit lower and break through some of our key signals. So that's how I would be looking at it. Same narrative here with AMDL. We're still holding up, and that's what I want to see. We're curling over. I'm kind of getting that feel that we'll curl over, and then maybe we can get a nice move. And the ultimate goal here would be back towards the high of the day. What is that going to send me there on okay, that's not horrible, I mean, but if it does really give me some more feels that we might find somewhat of a rebound and I see USO really start to tank, maybe we double or even triple up our size here. We're not sitting bad, but we can always add more into a working thesis, and I think that's essentially the narrative that we got going on. What has MSTR been doing? Yeah, it's bleeding its own blood right there. Not too good of a look on MSTR, and probably BMNR, same narrative. Oh, a nice little indecision print, but with these names, it's like when I talk about about the Nasdaq and say, hey, we have to keep an eye on what the larger participants are doing, it's the same narrative with BM&R. If Ethereum's not climbing higher, then good luck. But some nice prints, and that could be telling. And I thought that maybe at some point yesterday, the way that MSTR was trading, that it could be somewhat of a leading indicator. But I don't know. It's selling while Bitcoin's just hovering around the volume-weighted average price. Adara.
USO just did an orderly little march higher. If you did see it, I put this on the screen as well, but I'll read it out to you guys. Looks like the Speaker of Iran's parliament posted on X, quote, Iran can target any location it chooses with fewer missiles. Today, the Iron Dome appears to be an irony. So a little bit of posturing and a pun from the Speaker of Iran's parliament. Back to you.
All right, Joey.
Hydration Nation. We'll throw that water back there. Yeah. Just because your parent don't mean they're not after you. Oh, I don't really understand. I wouldn't say that I'm that either. So when I say they're listening, I couldn't be more sarcastic. And if you can't read the tone, then it seems like a you problem. But anyways, Tesla.
Oh my days.
Is it not true? Like, what do you think they're listening? They got microphones everywhere. Come on, man. Come on. You never know though. But anyways, aside from that, IBM, PLTR, QCOM, AMD. That's the name that we keep going over. We want to go to the bottom of our list. What is my boy Walmart doing? I heard Sean talk about its PE sitting around the 40s. That's not good, especially after, from a daily perspective, we had that 134, and now we're trading almost 8% lower. Let's see if this is going to hold up, but I still like Walmart on any form of a pullback, Sheree.
All right, man, I'm still watching ASNS here for a possible entry. I was looking at 61.5. New candle opened up. 60, a little bit less than 60 is the 10 EMA. So I'm continuing to watch this candle develop. Current bar low, 61.06, prior bar low, 61.01. So this one marginally higher. You can't even really say higher here, but continuing to watch. I want to see if we can get in closer to the 10. That's where the buyers have stepped in pretty aggressively, but my price is not coming in quite yet. So let's continue to watch. I'm looking for a move here a little bit lower. Now I could just put my, I can put like this, and then we can give it to prior bar, which I've already said, 59 1/3. So we can go just like that. I'm gonna go 60.5 for that, but it doesn't even look like it's gonna move down. So I'm just thinking this through here, especially with the amount of risk that I wanna take. What's the 5-second chart show? It's still a downtrend from that 64 area high, lower highs all throughout. Now starting to catch a bit of a bid here into 62. So here comes 62.5. This could be a nice move. Yeah, there it is. I think I've missed that there. Yeah, I should have had that with prior bar low as the entry, but we're still not really through either. So just continuing to add. I don't want to be too aggressive, especially on days or times where I've been made to pay for being very aggressive. So let's continue to watch here. 62 and change. If we get through this, we're probably going to be looking at around 75 to $1. Here comes 63 pennies. This one's really making a move here. Yeah, I definitely missed my area. Crap. Let's continue to watch, though. How many shares did I want to take there? All right. Let's see. So we hold current bar low. Current bar low puts us at 61.06. Okay, so that's not a bad area there. Let's continue to watch. ASNS. Yeah, 64, 63. Okay, here comes that 63 again. We're above prior bar open now. Let's give this a try. We're going to give this to prior bar low, to current bar low. So 61.06. Can I send it to you?
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
Put in my stops here.
All right, man. Let's see what we got going on here. Currently out of the money, and the market is starting to slowly curl over as USO is grinding higher. I mean, let's see. Yeah, there it goes. It breaks. Okay, so this is my green light to get out. It's not very strong right now, and it seems that the trend is most definitely down as Oracle is continuing to slide. I actually do this because you know what? You see. Listen. Hold on one second. There, bang. Later.
Skater.
Let me put it over there. Anyways, yeah. Aside from that, let's see what we got going on here. Starbucks. Not really finding anything too attractive right now, to be honest with you, as the market is continuing to go lower and USO is potentially going to break out. I mean, we can take a look at Netflix. Looked all right earlier today. Let's pull that up and see how it's doing. Is this? Oh, okay. No, yeah. So it is breaking lower. So, I mean, that seems to be the narrative in the tech trade right now. We're starting to form a lot of these indecision prints, but we're breaking through them, just making them essentially invalid. And I mean, you can continuously try. We don't want to catch a falling knife too often. So we tried it on AMD, didn't work out. Didn't have that breakup. We thought that we were going to see something along the lines in which we seen yesterday. Not necessarily the case here today. So what do? Wait for an additional pullback. You're getting these micro pullbacks, and then you're heading a little bit lower. So I think you just have to go with the flow. Boom. Talk about your boom there, Sharif.
There goes ASNS. All right, man, we're doing well today, guys. Took big boy shares through the break. I didn't have the best price, but, you know, that's kind of my problem there. 67.60 high, we've got 63s on. Looking for continuation now into $0.75. I stop out at current bar low. Current bar low, as I mentioned, 61.06. So we've given it a little bit below into 61. Still holding the majority of the position. Looking for that continuation into the high. This is a very aggressive name. It's up 75%. It's up into the $0.0025 now. Whether or not we retrace before possibly making that move into the $0.75, but this one's very, very aggressive. Now, there was a buyer, there was a seller at 64, and you could visually see that on the 5-second chart. Very easy to see. Let's bring it down. Pardon me. There we go. Just wanted to be able to see the level 2 there. 67. Here we go. We're about to take out 67. But there was a buyer, seller here at 64 that was shaking, that we couldn't shake. So if it does come into 64, I could be adding here a little bit. There it goes into another high of day. 67.60. All gas, no brakes. Waiting for a move into 70 before I take profits. 2R for me on this one is 70. Exactly 70 on the dot. 3R is 74 for me. So looking for that move for the majority of the position into 70. In fact, what we're going to do is we're just going to put it at 69. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to put, the sell order there at 0.69. Let's see if we can kind of work up there. 67.60 still is the high of the day. Let's see if we can flash something a little bit higher than that, possibly some 68s. But this one's got a lot of buyers right now, and now the shorts are on the ropes, at least for now. We know how this is, right? There's a whole ebb and flow to this. There's 68. It's a 68 penny high. Let's see if we can work up one more penny. I'm waiting for that 69er. If that comes in, we're taking 2R there, and then we're going to, of course, as always, save a piece for the dream. And this one likely will run into $0.75. I hate to say likely, but, you know, just from my observations that, you know, when you get into that 2/3, you're going to make a move into 3/4 or even the dollar. Selling here, 68 pennies. This doesn't look good. Topping tail candle now. That's just turned red, but we know it's not the end all and be all in the world of small cap gappers, as people got to take profits. Believe you and me, I'm still looking at Ocugen, which has a 3-candle hold now above 215, which just happens to be the volume weighted average price. So if I start seeing that curl on Ocugen, OCGN is the ticker, your boy's getting involved. For now, I steer clear. ACXP is bleeding its own blood. It's a unbroken downtrend now. I have a bias here of a buy zone between 4 1/3 to 4 1/2. Reason is, on ACXP, we got the volume weighted average price showing a 1/3, and then we also have the breakout level. Not really the breakout level, I should say, pardon me, the $0.50 psychological support or resistance at 50. That creates a bit of a zone for me. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. I'm not liking the look of ASNS's jib right now, coming down now into 65 and change with a 68 penny high. Just to give you some information, prior bar is where I get out, 61.06. The 10 EMA on the 5, though, has moved now above my my entry at 61 almost and 2/3. A little bit more than 61.5. So let's keep an eye out there. Here comes 64. That buyer at 64 just stepped in. So I missed that. Look at that move into 64. It comes into 64 1/4, and then it ends up rocketing with a great wowzers, Joey.
Wowzers.
Look at this. Look at that 64 hold that we're talking about. Look at that. It comes into 64 1/4. Rocket City. Mistake by me.
Rock City.
Rock City. So continuing to watch there. Let's see if this one can kind of move up into 69 so we can get our 2R. Yeah, that was a mistake by me. I should have been adding it to 64. I should have been more aggressive there, especially with that buyer obviously there on the 5-second chart. Mistake. Hopefully I won't make that again. Oh, baby. Back into 67 we go, Joey. We know it's a 68 penny high. We're still in the same bar right now that we haven't, that we took prints on, by the way. It's 54. 54. So we still have another minute or so until this bar closes. Just to give you some information, current bar low, 64.30. Current bar high is the high of the day at 68. So if you want to put your out, if you're going to get in here, you haven't been in, current bar low, 64.30. I would stop out at current bar low just to, you know, keep everything kosher. And then I'd be looking possibly to get back in at around the 10 EMA on the 5, which is around 61.75. That's if you haven't already been in. If you're already in, it's a different story, different risk parameters, etc. Looks like they're selling here, though, guys, locally at 67. So 68 penny high, but we've been rejecting 67 now, multiple 5-second candles, all rejecting 67 or thereabouts. So now we know the selling is coming in at that predictable area. It's not the first time. It's not the first time we've been selling at 67. Take a look over here. At, yeah, a little bit, about 7 or 8 minutes ago at 48s. We were selling at 67. You get the price spike up into 68, and now we're dealing with that 67 seller again. This could be a head and shoulders pattern. Watch out for the loss. I would say at around, yeah, the neckline is showing 65, but we know that support is at 64, so it's kind of hard to read in that sense. So yeah, a bit of a convoluted look over here, Joey, but keeping a close eye on this. Yeah, well, Lemon, I know, brother. I'm probably going to make it again and again and again and again and again. But if I can make the mistakes smaller, for example, I didn't get in at 64, but I don't have to get in full position at 64, right? I can get in like 25% of the risk. So if I can just actually execute at that level rather than, you know, not executing for fear of losing profits, I think that that would be the first step, and then, you know, it kind of spirals from there. So that's what I'm talking about there. Shout out to my man. Shout out to Tisha. ACXP is the only ticker I'm watching, she says. It's holding up, Tish, at around 460 and change, but we're going to keep an eye out on that one. That's a good winner for me, but we're looking for a little bit more on it, Joey.
All right.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
We're heading over to
Gotta go to Adara, yeah.
Looking at oil, we of course know that IEA countries agreeing to release 400 million barrels worth of the strategic oil reserves. It's going to, apparently this is like a record, significant, but also these countries are going to be doing the releases themselves. We already heard from Macron saying that basically they're considering doing, I think, maximum 14.5 million barrels of oil. On Fox Business, U.S. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum was asked about their announcements, and he said that that would be left to President Trump. So looks like we're not going to get a response from oil from anybody but the president in terms of their plans for this strategic oil reserve release. Also, keep an eye on oil and some of these deep sea plays, a lot of which are small caps like OPTT, which just got a pop, and KITT got a smaller pop here. Reuters reporting that Iran has already laid roughly a dozen mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Back to you.
Yeah, man, this mine business is going to be, it's going to be troublesome.
It's going to be an issue.
I just personally, like off topic, obviously, I just think that they have absolutely nothing to lose at this point. So it's going to be, you know, that's not the right expression, all hands on deck, but everything goes. It's going to be no holds barred. I think.
Yeah,
I think
so
that's
you're just saying they're going to throw kind of
going to be no
rules out of the
barred.
window, out the window,
Exactly.
and just do whatever they please.
Exactly. It's going to be like, all right, you wanted to mess with us? Here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And I worry, too, about, you know, sleeper cells and stuff like that all over the world. I do.
Yeah.
Genuinely worry about that. Yeah, even in this country, man. Doug Ford, the premier of this country, was asked about it yesterday, and he's adamant that there are sleeper cells. Now, whether you believe it or not,
look what
right?
happened yesterday just down the street.
Oh, yeah. Oh, guys, somebody shot at the U.S. consulate yesterday, literally down the street. Kind of stupid thing to do because it's like a place is a fortress. It didn't even graze the glass. Like the glass was like scratched.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they used the handgun.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's not a good look at all, man. not pleased with what's
little
happening here, but what can you
drive-by,
do, brother? What can you do, man? So I saw that in Toronto, said Casey. Yeah.
Oh, Gorilla, yes, we do. You got to think about it. I wish I could pull up the statistics per capita. We're up there, right? Because up
what?
until as firearms per individual.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're up there.
there.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's surprising. You got to think about how much of it is like country and forest and everything along those lines.
Bro, some places in the north, you can't go without a rifle with a long arm. You cannot go because there's polar bears.
There's bears
Yeah,
and everything.
they'd be like, you're not going anywhere without a gun.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Trust me.
Joey, just want to
Yeah, go
say
ahead.
one quick thing, guys. SAFX is going. I'm so sorry. I did realize this, but we digressed there. 40 penny breakout on SAFX, up 52%, 44 penny high. It's really, really going here. So watch out. Another penny stock name, but it seems to be the penny stock names that are getting all the love. These sub $1 names. If that's the case, that's the case. What can we do, right? We're gonna have to trade them. I'm gonna trade them in the same way with the same risk parameter. Obviously, the zones mean different things. So as you approach the dollar, to me, on these sub $1 stocks, it becomes a bit of a different look than the ones that are north of $1. But in any event, we have taken out now on SAFX the aftermarket high and the day high today. Look at that 40 penny area. That was the aftermarket high yesterday that we couldn't shake. It was a very clear area of resistance intraday today. And then on volume, a lot of good volume there, but 1 million shares, we break through it. So it's a 44 penny high on SAFX. I'm looking on that one. ACXP is starting to curl here, Tisha. I don't know if you're keeping an eye on this in the chat, but look at that. Now, a couple of candles here with some higher lows. This one's looking to possibly take out that $495 again. Let's keep a close eye on that one. Just before we go to Adara, sorry. Mopar for life. I love that name. Shout out, you must be a big fan of Stellantis. That's sleeper cell. Joe's right hook. I'd be afraid. I agree. Was that a right hook or it was a looping right? Because you're conventional, so you have a left hook, right? But it was a looping right hand.
Yeah.
My boy.
Out there.
There goes
with,
ACXP, Joey. It's taking out the levels. It's on the way to 5. Here comes. Be on the lookout here for a 5 break. I still have my order to go active above day's high. 510 high. Keep your eye on that. We're going to happening now with Adair.
I have a headline, probably nothing massive here, but McDonald's apparently planning a new $4 breakfast meal deal. According to sources, it's not moving on this, but I thought I'd let you guys know just in case it just came out. Last time we spoke here in the morning happening now, so just 2 hours ago or 8 15-minute candles ago, we had like highs of day being broken in this market. Now the opposite's true. We're actually kind of hanging out here, not only near low of day, but also this pre-market low. So let's see how the Qs fare on that 605 halves area. S&P 500 actually already below its pre-market low and near its low of day. So SPY faring a little bit worse than the Nasdaq this morning. DIA well below pre-market lows and also at low of day. So Dow I was seeing was down at least 1%. DIA faring a little bit worse. Something that's certainly faring well, I think, here is oil. USO is going to be in watch here. Tons of geopolitical headlines continuing to relate to the Middle East specifically and Iran. USO is popping a little bit higher. We did have reports suggesting that they've already, or Iran rather, has already deployed a dozen mines in the Strait of Hormuz. So all of these deep sea names like KITT right now pulling back a little bit, or OPTT are also going to be on watch when we get these headlines. OPTT actually still faring quite well. Now, another kind of geopolitical adjacent headline here involves SYK. This is Stryker. They were reportedly, according to the Wall Street Journal, hacked. People are expecting the hack was related to Iran. So interesting look here for SYK. This obviously down quite a bit, down about 4.5% right now for Stryker. Now, keep an eye on Thermo Fisher at 2:30 p.m. today. Now, much like when President Trump visited Ford a couple months ago, we're going to be getting a visit now for Thermo Fisher Scientific, TMO, and a name that I know Sharif picked for the year. That's going to happen at 2:30 p.m. Very unlikely to be moving for this stock, but just be where he is going to be at TMO at 2:30. I'll cover that for you guys if there is anything of note that comes from that visit. But in the meantime, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Send you back over to the midday.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to pull
I'm
this
getting
up.
rinsed on that Thermo Fisher trade, right?
Are you?
Yeah. I was picking
When is
it.
down?
I have no idea. I picked it Because I felt like one of the more underserved areas so far, at least like in the few years that we've been really in the AI world, has been biotech. So I was kind of thinking, you know, there could be, you know, that move now to use AI to kind of yeah, like, you know how much these trials cost, dude? Like phase 1, phase 2, they cost billions of dollars.
Big time dollars.
Imagine being able to cut some of those out, right?
Yeah. I just want to pull this up here. Look, man, we're like 6th or 7th on this list right there.
Oh, for guns?
Yeah, loaded.
Who's number one? Falkland Islands. That's not a country, bro.
I don't even know.
That's off
that's
because
per capita,
there was a fight. There was a war between England and Argentina over there. It's in the South Atlantic. Yemen.
But we're up there,
yeah. Everybody's loaded in Yemen. Your boy, the Houthis there, because they got a lot of weapons.
Yeah, the rebels over there. But yeah,
New Caledonia. None of these countries count, man.
Yeah, but look at that.
Small.
No, but you have
Can
to
we
think
filter
that
by population?
You got to go by like civilian firearm right there. I mean, there's as many people as there is guns. That's why it's essentially impossible to invade it. So we're up there, man. Don't think that we lacking, as the kids would say these days. We going to Adara?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and it actually involves NVIDIA. Apparently, they've introduced the the Nemotron 3 Super. We already heard about those, the NemoClaw AI agents they were going to be introducing. They now have this Nemotron 3 Super. Apparently, this model delivers 5 times higher throughput for agentic AI. So, new agentic AI model for NVDA by the name of Nemotron 3 Super. Back to you.
All right.
You gonna get that Nemotron, Joey?
I can't even. I already used up all my credits on Nano Banana, so I don't. I don't know.
Brendel went through like all the credits on Perplexity Computer like in a day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's like it's so expensive.
All the compute, man. All right, so yeah, let's take a look at some of the top volume names here, guys. I mean, from a higher capitalization standpoint anyways, we got NVDA. Where did HIMS just go? I seen that one on there. HIMS was at the top of the around the top of the list, and then it just kind of disappeared on us. But NVDA typically in that first place spot. Oracle, same thing. USO, breaking through that high of the day. So let's keep an eye out on that one. Let's pull up HIMS and see how it's been performing. I was looking for this breakout yesterday in the past couple of sessions. This is where I was looking at it yesterday, and then unfortunately it tanked. And we didn't participate on the long side, now just blowing past that previous high on yesterday. So, I mean, keep an eye out on HIMS, performing pretty well. And from a daily standpoint, guys, not too bad of a look whatsoever. Massive gap up, breaking that trend line, and then sure enough, now you're getting a sustained move. Didn't really break down, never filled this gap or anything along those lines, and then off to the races we go. Paps Blue Ribbon over here, it's not, it's Petróleo Brasilio. We know Assassino knows this one. Steady, whoa, look at this move. That's pretty big. So PBR over here, 65% since the beginning of the year. Not too bad of a look whatsoever. What's Brooklyn up to over here? Vesco Senior Loan ETF, okay. So, I mean, a lot of things popping up on our volume scanner. I don't know why HIMS, oh, there it is. There's HIMS, we already went over this name. SOXL, performing relatively decent. This is a daily. I mean, these aren't investment vehicles, right? Directs on daily. Semiconductor, I don't think so anyways, but not too bad of a look. All the way up from 23 to 55. Maybe they may be, who knows. SoFi, how have you been doing? Heading lower. I mean, SoFi's been getting absolutely shellacked. Adara, what do you have for us?
The Iran headline cycle continues. CNN reporting that Iran has claimed it has launched high-speed underwater launched missiles. So Iran saying, yes, we have placed these high-speed underwater launched missiles. Now take it how you will, if you believe them or not, but CNN is reporting that this is what they're claiming. And for what it's worth, oil actually at a new high of day. And again, other tickers with these undersea-related catalysts, KITT, and today I think the much better performing one is OPTT. This one is a penny stock, and we're just going to send you back over to Joey Options.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. So yeah, I mean, we don't got much going right now, guys. I find the market a little bit choppy and it's moving to the south. Nothing really distinct for me or definitive other than USO continuing to climb, but I don't want to punch it all the way at these highs. I just don't think that's logical of a trade. Your risk to reward, I mean, it could be as you break through, essentially, I could be completely wrong and this can continue to climb. But for me to be proven wrong, it's either the south of this, of this support level around 106, or the volume weighted average price, and that's like $3, right? So you'd have to drastically size down and allow this thing to really start working for you. And then considering you're giving it $3, what are you going to do? Wait for a $6 move to hit a 2-to-1? I mean, that'd be putting you around $14, and I think that's why it's really important to just really gauge your risk to reward ratio and be patient and wait for that high quality opportunity. If USO is continuing to climb, we've seen the narrative on the Nasdaq. It's just been selling, and relatively a quiet one for me. 2 trades on the day, and we couldn't really get the ball rolling. We were doing okay on AMDL, but I was waiting for a specific target. But unfortunately, that downtrend came into play. You bounce off of the resistance zone, and then you establish a new low of the day, and you've just been stuck in that steady downtrend here today. All right, so Robinhood down to 77.25. Let's see what IBIT is up to. Where are you? Watch list. Because there was an opportunity. Okay, yeah, so it is steady grinding higher. If you can catch the lower end, 39.80s, anything south of that, I think you can find yourself a quality opportunity, considering how much below the volume weighted average price the Nasdaq is, and we're trading above here, or just a little bit above here on IBIT, Sharif.
All right, man. We're in OcuGen. Just took the first print there. 2R for me on OcuGen. Takes us up to 232. So that's the high of the day, okay? So I'm going to have to pack the patience there. We're going to save the bulk of the shares for 2R. Let's see if it makes it up there. I stop out now that the trend is on. Prior bar low. Prior to that, it was not prior bar low. It was right at the volume weighted average price of 215. I put it right at VWAP because none of the prints actually touched VWAP. So I was like, okay, well, if that triple bottom, almost a quadruple bottom, gives way, what the hell do I care about VWAP? Here's what I'm talking about. Look at these candles. 1140, 1145, 1150, 1155, all defend 16. The low of which on all these candles is 216, right? All right. So I'm like, okay, so VWAP's perfect. Let's just put the stop at VWAP. So I got in on this candle here, the 12 o'clock candle. So that's where I had my stop. But then we take it out. A very clear breakout on the 1205 candle, and now we're opened up the 1210 candle. We're still not above the 1205 candle high, but I'm going to give it to the 12 candle low, the low of which is 218. So it's just right below that. So looking for a move here into 232 on OcuGen. It's up 26.5%. There it goes into 24. We're going to take another little profit taker at 25, but again, very, very small. We're holding the majority of the position for 2R. So let's see if it makes it up there. If it does, great. Doesn't, Nick, quick scalp into 224. My man. So we're going to take profits very close to the same level. So shout out to you, Nick. You got the right idea. And I think, who was it in the chat that reminded me that this was making a move here into, what's it called? Drop Systems. It was you, Drop. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. So we're going to keep a close eye on OCGN. Now, let me make this point, though. I am a little concerned until we can clear that $0.25 level. And the reason I say that, 2 reasons. 1, $0.25, $0.50, 3/4, whole. Sometimes areas of support and resistance. Moreover, look at this area that we rejected earlier, around 10 o'clock, the high of which there was 24. So for a fact, we know that the buyers or the sellers can come in, and we're already rejecting 24, dropping down now into 21, so it doesn't even make its way up into 25. So that's what I'm keeping an eye out on there, and I feel a lot easier if this one actually cleared 225, just so we can take out that initial bull flag, second bull flag high. So I see one bull flag 930, second bull flag starts at around 950. Now we're obviously putting in what could be a higher low, higher high upper channel, or it could be a head and shoulders pattern, right? Where we could get the break below that 215. Thankfully, I'll be out way before that ever happens. We'll be out at 18s, 17s, again, on that prior area low. I want to bring everybody's attention to ACXP again. Look, I know this has probably lured you in, and you probably stopped out on it because this is an ugly candle right there at 12 o'clock. Pops up all the way into 496. Looks like it's going to break 5, and then drops all the way back down into 475. It actually closed at 475. The low was 472. It closed at 475. But here it comes. it's showing you that curling pattern, that higher low, higher high, kind of rounded shape. Let's see if it takes out 5. I still have my order to go long above the high of the day. I think that's how I'm going to play it. We're going to pack the patience. We're going to see if ACXP, Joey, can take out 5. If it takes out 5, your boy's going to go long, but we don't really know.
All right, man. All right. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Drop systems. Yeah, boy.
What's he saying, boy?
Put in your stops. Good time, not a long time. My man. He knows the drill. Shout out to him.
Yeah,
shout out to Casey. 520 freaking 6. There goes OCGN into 25.
Oh, it is moving, eh?
Pardon me?
Yeah, someone mentioned that earlier this morning.
Oxygen?
Yeah.
Picked it up pretty quick on the scanner there, Joe.
Nice. Yeah, so there we go, right back to the top end of the range on a couple of the names that I'm looking at. Has the market found a potential bottom? It's USO. It's slowly starting to climb higher. If I'm going to engage, I think this could be a good opportunity. We don't want to bail on AMD too early, even though we did break through some key support levels and the channel is fully to the downside. But let's take one more attempt on this bad boy. Why not, right? Shout out to that. And I haven't seen why not in the chat in quite some time. So yeah, let's take one more attempt on this thing. We get what happened? Go ahead, man.
KC 526, bro. She does it live, consistent.
Did she just donate?
She just dropped. She just dropped another 10 members.
All class, Casey. Okay, Sharif, I know you typically do this. I'm going to take this one. John Mai. Who do we got? Samrat, Jed Luke, Be Happy, Twisted Mind, Ralph, Status, Junior World Galaxy, Alex the Great, Steven Johnson, and who else do we got? Darwin the Trader, and
he's been a,
I know Darwin.
Darwin's been a member since
okay, I was gonna say
before I even showed up here.
All of you, the names that I just mentioned, got it. What's up, T-Money? Adara, talk to us.
We're getting more comments here from President Trump on Iran saying, quote, the U.S. just took out just about all of Iran's mine ships. So President Trump claiming that almost all of Iran's mine ships were taken out by the U.S. I'm also seeing that apparently Trump administration is very likely going to be announcing new trade investigations here through Section 301 on Wednesday. So New York Times reporting that the Trump administration going to be announcing some new trade investigations on Wednesday. If I get any sense of what industries, let's see if we have any industries: digital taxes, forced labor, currency manipulation, and industrial capacity. Also, apparently, trade practices involving batteries, chemicals, plastics, and telecom equipment. Maybe keep an eye on these telecom plays tomorrow, but nothing super obvious here. Again, more trade investigations and more claims from President Trump. Back to you.
All right, Joey, I just want to let everybody know. So everybody who got a free membership from KC 526, first and foremost, thank you, Case. And now you guys can get my morning note bright and early every day before we go live by about 10 to 15 minutes. Mosey on over to the Trader TV Live YouTube homepage right here, right there. And then you'll see tabs at the top, hit posts, mosey on down, and then you'll see morning market brief. There'll always be like a thumbnail reflecting the stories. Hit read more, and there she is right there. You hit Google Drive and it comes up. Now it comes with a table of contents, so you can just kind of get away from everything you don't really want to read, and you can click these, by the way. It takes you right to the story. And also new is a bias. So we got support and resistance levels. As always, 3 areas of support, 3 areas of resistance, and now you get a bias about, you know, which way you should be looking. Obviously, you shouldn't be doing anything. You should be making these decisions on your own, but, you know, kind of helps guide you in that way. And then, as always, a fan favorite here is the Trader Takeaway. It just gives you a summary of what to look for, some of the levels and stuff. So it does really help you organize your day. It's a good supplement to our great morning watch list as well, which is free to everybody. Joey.
All right, man. This one not working out for us too well. You can see we're 3 cents OTM on it. The channel to the downside is definitely in play here on AMD. We'll hold it to the break of the previous low. Okay, so that'll put us at a pivot low. No need to get out too early. Hold on to it, stick to the thesis, and then see if we can hit our price target if we're fortunate enough to be able to sit in this trade a little bit longer. But with USO on the incline and the Nasdaq on the decline, a little bit tougher of a look there, Sharif. I might have to hop over into small cap GAFA world to find some momentum.
I like it, Joey. Enter the.
Enter the.
You hit decline a lot?
Decline bench?
Decline bench?
No, I don't actually.
You're not a fan,
No,
eh?
I hit incline yesterday.
You hit incline. That's a go-to move. Yes, my guy.
Some dips and stuff
Everybody
like that.
swears up and down by incline as the go-to. Forget about decline. Forget about flat. Everybody talks about incline.
I don't mind. Like, so for me, at when I go to LA, I haven't been in quite now. I just go to the gym downstairs. But they had a decline machine that I like it.
You'll do it?
I just find like, I'll hit it there, right? But I find it a little easier. You know what I mean?
100. Oh, it is.
It is.
It is easier, but I do like it for like hitting your lower pecs.
Exactly.
Obviously there. Like, but
yeah. Danny boy.
Danny boy's dropping money, man. Should I read that?
Absolutely.
Good afternoon, gents. We should probably cross our fingers and hope Iran doesn't have access to Bass Pro Shops catalog. I knew this was going to be funny. Because Mini Coda sells remote control electric motors that can easily deploy sea mines from the beach. Oh, God. I really hope not. But you got to assume they're probably alive to all these tricks. That's kind of...
Yeah,
it's the job of some of the people there, right? They got to respond in ways that they can, and I don't think they can respond in a conventional way, like with conventional weapons, so they're going to have to do other things, bro. That's what concerns me, man. Let me just be honest about it. Right? That's the look there. Shout out to Nick. I am short on triple Qs, 106, 103.65. Mind giving your thoughts? It's probably better for Joseph to look at that. I'll give my opinion, and maybe Joey Opsh can give his.
What are we looking
triple
at
Qs.
here?
Yeah, this is your world here, my boy. There's a lot of support here. Okay, so this is an area low. Area low in the pre, area low, well, 2 times in the pre. I want to say the 606, 605.5 area has been well defended lately. And you can kind of see these area lows as well. Go back days, multiple days. Yesterday's lows as well. We're right back at yesterday's lows. We're definitely in a range. Look at this range, guys. So here is yesterday, and then we're obviously on the right is today. Yeah, in a bit of a tight range here, certainly. So I would say buy zone, 605, 606 at the extremities, 604.5. But that's my look. What's your look on the Qs?
Yeah, for sure. We can take a look at the Nasdaq here. As I'm seeing, we're holding on by a thread on this AMDL trade. So any form of a pump up higher, we'll pull it up. I have the Nasdaq and the SPY in the corner of my eye at all times to see what the overall market is doing. So what happened here? I think it's good to take a look from a daily, right? Like we're still fully entrenched in this essentially chop zone right here. Keep that in mind, guys. We're going to break one way or the other, so you just have to be patient. At this pace, I do believe that we had a little bit lower, and then that will give us some nice liquidity to grab, and then we can make a new move higher. Adara.
Today looks like it's halted here, guys. Wall Street Journal reporting that the company has drawn a takeover bid from Earth Capital. Now, we heard about Earth Capital, I believe, potentially being involved in Papa John's a while back, but now it looks like there has officially been a takeover bid from Earth Capital for PZZA. Again, that's reported by Wall Street Journal. Back to you.
There it goes. Yeah, man. Alfred's actually involved in this. I'm going to have to talk smack to him here. Yeah, this is a great call out there, Papa John's. Oh, wow. Interesting. This is being reported by the Journal, too. So interesting look, Joe. I'm just trying to see if we can find more information on it. Nothing coming in. There it is here. So I'll be able to get it. Give me some time here, Joey. We got tricks.
You ever heard? Get through that, my boy.
It's going to take a while, though.
That's all right. I'll ramble on while you go there. All right, nice little pop-up there. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Just conveyor belt pizza here. We got to get that oven baked or that stone baked, or that wood oven.
How about that life?
The conveyor belt lifestyle is a little bit tougher one, man. No, I'm obviously being highly sarcastic. All right, guys, there it is. A nice little pop-up there in AMD as the market is continuing to climb a little bit higher and USO is starting to move lower. Maybe we get it. Fabian's not here right now. He's busy. Otherwise, we can maybe get the pull up for the pizza conveyor belt. Oven baked or stone oven. I don't know if those things are the same, but I think that's really important when it comes to quality of pizza. But AMDL, guys, a nice little move. Did we catch the bottom? I'm not going to get too ahead of ourselves right now, but we're looking like we're in a pretty good spot. I like our chances for this market to find somewhat of a recovery here, and USO head a little bit lower. So I think that's big. We got the halt there on PZZA. Let me actually pull this up for the folks, and so we can actually take a look. Are we going to get a tap on it? I think that's going to be important as well. Tap 39 smackers.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, whoa, the tap at 39. We've halted at 35.99, it seems. So $4 almost right there, and it's continuously increasing. Adara.
Intel.
We're here, guys. Keep an eye on oil. We do have more comments here with regards to oil. A senior Iranian military official, apparently, according to state TV, has warned that if Iran's ports and docks are threatened, all regional ports and docks will be targeted in turn. Furthermore, a couple different headlines for INTC. For one, Intel reportedly announcing a new Intel Core Ultra 200S Plus series desktop processor. So new processors being announced. Also, apparently there's going to be a shareholder lawsuit against Intel trying to void their sale of a 10% stake to the U.S. government. They're calling this move, quote, extortionary and saying it's illegal. And apparently some of the evidence they're trying to use about that is a post from U.S. President Donald Trump saying in all caps, I paid zero for Intel. Back to you.
All right, so yeah, there it is, 37.50. What are you laughing at, my boy?
Just like the President Trump.
Yeah. I mean, hey, what fun would he be if he was like, yeah.
I talked to my friend Vladimir yesterday.
What'd he say?
He likes me.
All right. Yeah, so 37.51. Tap now sitting at $40 there, guys. So not too bad of a look here on. Seems to be growing in popularity. I know Pizza Hut was the first pizza place I knew with that. But aside from that, we're getting a small pullback there. Guys, keep an eye out on this tap on PZZA. We'll see when that one opens, and we'll come back to it. But we're going to head right back to AMDL, which is starting to come back in. We grab a couple of pennies, nothing substantial. We're going to hold this either until we hit target or we get stopped out. No ifs, ands, or buts, just sticking to the game plan.
Did you hear what President Putin was saying about the war in Iran?
No.
Like, he danced around it a little bit, but the comments I heard was, this is not our war.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because when he spoke to President Trump, right? He didn't really want to get involved as much, which to me was a little bit bizarre, because Iran was supplying him with those Shahed drones, which he was using in Ukraine. And that's why the Ukrainians have all this intel about how to kind of defend the drone swarms, right?
Yeah.
So if they were so tight like that, how he's just going to flip the switch. He's calling it like a strategic relationship rather than an ally. President Putin about Iran.
Well,
so
maybe he doesn't want that. He doesn't want more heat. Yeah, exactly.
Because he wants the Ukraine thing to resolve his way, right?
Yeah,
so he needs to stay on President Trump's good side. That's kind of what I took from that. But yes, we did talk about pizza. Alan 933 something or another. I'm trying to get the article from the Wall Street Journal. It's giving me trouble still, but let me look to see if I can find a little bit more information. No, it's still just giving me like the headlines. I can't seem to get the article quite yet. So as soon as I do get the article, it's from the Wall Street Journal, I promise. We will read it out in detail and kind of go over that whole thing. But for the moment, I still don't have access to it. But yeah. That is the look. Guys, I'm still holding Ocugen here. I am a little concerned because there's a bunch of topping tail candles through the quarter dollar. And usually that's not a good look when you're getting multiple topping tail candles through the quarter dollar. So I'm trying to pack the patience. I've moved up my stop into 21s now, so we're going to pack the patience on that. We'll talk more about Ocugen and SAFX when we get back from Adara. She's got breaking news.
I know. I just have more details on the Papa John. So it's going to be a $47 per share bid from Earth, again, according to this Wall Street Journal report. Now, this is significant because apparently this offer represents a roughly 50% premium to where Papa John's was trading prior to the submission of Earth's bid. Looks like Papa John's prior to the close of Tuesday, that was a $1 billion market cap. Again, this bid here from Earth, reportedly $47 per share. That would value Papa John's at $1.5 billion. Now, apparently Papa John's currently reviewing the bid. It also is partially backed by Brookfield Asset Management. Back to you.
Thank you for that great information. So let's read this article. Qatari-backed investment fund Earth Capital Management submitted a bid to take Papa John's private for $47 a share. Lauren Thomas and Heather Haddon of the Wall Street Journal report. They cite people familiar with the matter. The bid, which has backing from Brookfield, shout out to Carney, represented a 50% premium to where Papa is, with shares trading before Earth's bid was submitted. Sources told the journal there's no guarantees Papa will be receptive to Earth's bid, and another suitor could emerge, the paper adds. Earth tried acquiring Papa John's last year with Apollo Global, APO ticker, but the talks fell apart. People familiar with the matter said Earth recently increased its stake in Papa John's to around 10%. One of the people said shares of Papa John's, as we know, jumped up there. So great reporting. We'll keep an eye out on that. If we have more information, obviously, we'll give it to you guys. Joey.
Absolutely. All right, man. This is our final at-bat here on the plate with AMDL. This thing may go or it won't. I mean, we are going against the grain on that one. Downtrend still fully intact, but we re-engage. A wick out here, we get out when we're supposed to, but then it climbs right back up. So we might be just stuck in this this channel trade here, which isn't good for my long, right? Considering we just continuously knock on the top end of this range here. And what I'm looking for is us to break through, some volume to kick in, and then us find somewhat of a rebound here in AMD. What I see on the daily isn't looking too good either. Like, you can see that it's essentially a bearish candle being formed. So let's see, man. Hopefully we're fortunate enough to get that break. What I am doing here, and someone mentioned this the other day, and I totally agree. So what I am doing is anticipating, not participating. Those are very different things. And sometimes when you do that, then yeah, you can get yourself in a good position. But then if what you're anticipating doesn't work out, then you end up taking a loss. So I did add a little bit more shares on this one. May the trading gods forever be in my favor right now, Sharif, as AMD is starting to head a little bit lower.
You see your girl Lisa? You see where she's headed?
No.
She's headed to South Korea.
Yeah.
You know why? Well, what could she want from South Korea? What does South Korea have in spades right now, Joey?
I don't know.
Memory, baby.
Memory.
SK Hynix, Samsung. She needs to get her hands on some memory. So she's heading over to South Korea kind of just at the same time that NVIDIA's GTC conference, I think, starts out on the 16th. She's there around that time, so that's going to be important. We'll obviously be reporting on both. Uh-oh. You saw it?
I did.
It died. There he is. My man, big smile, big smile. He is Big Kyle Burdett. LJS. In case you're new to the show and you don't know what LJS means, we need to tell him, Joey. Little Joey Small.
Do we need to tell him?
It is 1:30 a.m. You got that swang in your step. The blue collar job starts at 6 a.m. Who are you calling Domino's? Papa John's or Little Caesars? Who are you calling? I know you don't like any of them, but you got to choose.
I don't mind Domino's because of the garlic bread.
Okay,
Yeah.
well said.
Yeah,
well said.
We'll go Domino's with the garlic bread.
Take.
All right,
Domino's,
Adara,
best one.
Who you calling, my boy?
Goated.
Who?
Domino's
she says goated. There you go.
Adara's got.
But I like their pasta better than their pizza.
Okay.
Fair.
All right, fair.
I don't know who I'd call.
Yeah?
I really don't. I really don't know.
The folks, who do we got? What are our options here again?
Domino's, Papa John's, or Little Caesars. I don't know, man. I don't really
But Little
know.
Caesars does have the crazy bread, right?
Yeah,
And they
that's
got
fair.
the deep dish too, which is
More carbohydrates. Yeah, fantastic.
Wait, Sharif.
Sorry, brother.
We got the
Just
swang
before
in
we go to
our
Adara, guys, SXTP is breaking out. It's a couple of pennies off the high. Shout out to Tisha Perkins. I didn't have eyes on this one. The volume is just coming in now. Look at the DARTA volume basically from 8 a.m. onwards, and now it's coming in. We're getting about 500, 600,000 shares per 5-minute candle. It's up 45%. SXTP. Good look there. Adara.
I mean, we're seeing more comments here on whether or not there are mines in the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump said that he didn't think that they had put mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Now JMIC, which is the Joint Maritime Information Commission, they're saying that there's no confirmed evidence of mines in the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran said that they had put these mines in the Strait of Hormuz. A couple different sources now saying, hey, that did not happen. RDW on watch as well. Redwire spiking higher. They had some kind of headline this morning as well, I believe. Right now, though, some speculation on social media suggesting Redwire could have a new classified customer. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, so there we go, guys. This is what I'm talking about. We do have a 5-minute print above a level that we want. We got a nice strong breakout. Now we just want that to be sustained. It doesn't look like it right now. You don't want the pullback to be aggressive either, nor did we have that kind of outstanding volume event either. So we'll be patient. If we continuously hold above it, I feel like we started to form somewhat of a base. It's just that these pullbacks are slightly aggressive. A strong up move. Primary target ideally would be the volume weighted average price, but you don't want to get too ahead of yourself. You got to be able to walk before you can run. But we are heading in the right direction right here now in AMD.
Guys, there's a lot going right now, man. SXTP is at the, well, 3 pennies off the high. SAFX is fractionally, and I really do mean like 2/3 of a penny off the high. Mind you, it is 44 penny high. But SXTP, middle left, middle bottom of your screen, SAFX, top right of your screen, are really going. They're both holding structure. It looks like SXTP had a bit more of an aggressive breakout, but when viewed in a wider time frame, this looks like a great rounded bottom through a break there of around 2.5. It looks like the sellers were really coming in at around 2.5 with really no closing prints in the pre above 240, but that doesn't matter. That's all over with now. It's 277 high. Let's just flip quickly to the daily, so you get an idea of this. Okay, so this is, coming from a lot higher, so, we're going to encounter resistance probably at every turn. That's SXTP. How we doing with SAFX? Are we coming from area highs? Okay, so SAFX, be on the lookout. On Monday, looks like on the 9th, we got into about 45 pennies. So if we do clear 44, we likely will have some bag holders from the afternoon, which is when it made the move on Monday, into 45. The good news is, though, we've taken out that 42 penny seller that we couldn't shake in the pre yesterday or in the aftermarket at around 40. So SAFX looking real good over here. We're looking to do some more damage. We just got the print there on Ocugen at 27s, and now my 2R is quite close. It's 232. I'm likely going to take it out at 30 just so that I don't get rejected at the 10 penny level. But it's a hell of a move here off the volume weighted average price. Moreover, it breached that what I perceive to be an area of resistance around the $0.25. Not by much, mind you. I'd like a move into 28, 29 will make me feel a lot better, but that is a big move there. And I also want to mention, I've said very little about this Assassino, NVTX, which I'm assuming is Navitas. Yeah, it is. It's NVTX, which is Navitas is leveraged ETF. So NVTS is Navitas. NVTX is the leveraged one. I believe it is 2 times. It is 2 times. Okay. So this one is really moving here into 34.41. NVTX is up 50 1/3%, and it just keeps breaking out. Probably, I would say, blocked in our system because it probably doesn't do that much volume. But NVTS is the main ticker you should be looking at there if you don't have qualms trading these larger names. In any event, Joseph and I are going to take a bit of a break. We're going to send it to Adara with a very special interview.
Indeed, we're pleased to welcome Adam Levy, CEO, President, and Director of NextGel to the show. You can find NextGel trading as NXGL. Thank you so much for being here with us today, Adam.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Let's just get right into it then. I want to start, can you provide us with a quick overview of what NextGel is and what your company does?
Sure. So NextGel, and you can see behind me the electron beam accelerator that we use. We make medical grade hydrogels that have a wide variety of uses for medical devices, particularly where medical devices interface with the skin. We use the energy from the beam to make sheets of water, essentially, that has a lot of different applications across multiple platforms. We've grown the business from $500,000 a year to about $12.5 million last year, and it continues to grow.
Awesome. Thank you so much for going over that. So now that we have the basics, let's get into specifics. You guys just announced a definitive agreement to license and acquire a portfolio of commercial stage regenerative biomaterial products. So what are some of the highlights from this deal that you'd like investors or potential investors to be aware of?
Well, it's essentially transformative and more than triples the size of our company. These are products that we know very well. The gentleman that runs that division for cellularity, Dr. Steve Brigido, has been on my scientific advisory board for the last 6 years. The products originally started at Aliqua Biomedical, which was this company's parent company at one time. And it's a really, really nice fit. This was not a great fit for cellularity. They have an incredible program that they work on, but it's not really their core competence. We're hoping to revitalize the sales force, get the products out there. These are proven, reimbursed products, and we think we can take them back to their 2024 glory relatively quickly.
NextGel has a past of successful M&A deals, including with Silly George and Kenkoderm. So how is NextGel poised to benefit from the acquisition of this new portfolio with that in mind?
Well, we're gonna apply the same principles we put down for Silly George and for Kenkoderm to this, right? This requires a re-engagement of the sales force, different marketing, managing sales teams. This is what we do really, really well. But we're also excited about some of the new products that are coming. So first, we'll apply ourselves to what's already existing, what's already doing probably over 20 million a year in sales. And then we're going to also have new products, including a very remarkable product in tendon repair.
What can you tell us about NextGel's pipeline going forward? I know you kind of addressed some of the plans here, but what's your company's pathway specifically for this portfolio expansion in the light of your new deal?
So again, we're very excited. The first product that'll be, we have 3 510K products in the pipeline. One should be released in the second half of this year. The other 2 will be submitted in 27 and 28. The product that we have right now is a tendon repair product that'll be out this year. It is made from placental material, which has tremendous advantages in terms of inflammation. The whole tendon repair market is growing at a, depending on who you ask, a 13 or 14% CAGR, because as we age and get older, especially in today's world, we're more active as we get older. So the tendon repair surgeries are increasing dramatically. So we think this is a very, very big opportunity. This product has the highest tensile strength of any other product on the market. It's paper thin, and as I said, it will reduce inflammation because it's made from placental material.
That's very exciting. So now that we've kind of gone over some basics and specifics with the business, do you have a message for investors after this announcement just going forward? And can you tease any other developments for NextGel that you haven't mentioned yet that maybe people might want to know about?
Well, I have to be careful about teasing things, but we do have a very robust product line coming out across our consumer products, including our partnership with Stada. We're very excited about these particular products with cellularity that we're getting from them. This is really transformative. This takes the company into immediate profitability. It takes the company to a scale where we can grow and continue to look for more acquisitions. And we are a little bit of an acquisition-minded business, so we will be looking for more things and more announcements. And as they come, but we have to be selective, right? But there's nothing worse than a bad acquisition. But this is truly transformative. It triples the size of our business at least.
Yeah, we'll certainly be keeping an eye out for more announcements, M&A and otherwise, from NextGel. Thank you again to Adam Levy, CEO, President, and Director of NextGel and NXGL. Thank you again for being here with us, Adam.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Very good information. Great interview there. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Adara, for that interesting information. Joey.
Yes, sir.
You see what ACXP did?
I did.
While the interview was going on? Yeah, this is why I think people stay away from small cap gappers. But to be honest with you, they don't all do this, okay? This one is, I think, unique in how it's trading. But look, what this tells me right here is that the shorts are awfully convicted to their cause above $5. This didn't just clear $5 by a little bit. It was by a lot. I'm assuming a lot of people got squeezed here short before another short position came in and kind of stabilized this down because it was rocketing up. There was a big buyer from down here, though. So I watched this develop. I think we can probably see it a little bit better on the 5 second. Allow me a second. There you go. You can kind of see it developing off that $0.50. We're moving quite aggressive here into 480. It comes into that 480 top. Then the squeeze was on. This is the 5 second chart, guys. And then it didn't take all that long to find the 530 top, and down we go below 5 again. So ACXP is all gas right now. We'll see if it can kind of reclaim that 5. It still hasn't printed a closing print above 5. I think maybe one. I lied. The 1130 candle. So that one is still going. Guys, SXTP is still in play. SAFX is still in play. OCGN now showing 28s on the ask. I'm waiting at 30 for 2R. We're packing the patience on this one. Let's see if we get it. By the way, my order on ACXP to take the high of the day out at 512 triggered. I made money on it, but I didn't like the look of how aggressively it was coming down. It definitely looked like a liquidity grab, which often, as we just saw, retraced below the breakout level. That's why I flattened out. If this stair steps up and clears 5, then we'll have a bit of a different trade on this one. So ACXP also in focus. ASNS looking like it's getting the sales under its wing again. I think this one has to be above 64 for long, but here's ACXP now. It is above 5. Let's see if it can close above 5. The tape is moving. Here we go, 514 high. It's up 75%. We're above that 512 area that we were kind of topping tail earlier on at 1115, 1120. We're obviously very south of 532, but this could be the move now above 5, so keep your eye here on ACXP. We got to pause. We're going to Adair.
Well, we had our interview there with Adam Levy. We did have some headlines coming through specifically with regards to oil, so I do want to go over these. A lot of these are comments from Trump, so we'll start with the one that is not a comment from President Trump, and that's going to be a senior Iranian military spokesperson denying that any of these Iranian Revolutionary Guard vessels are located at Iranian economic ports. So basically they're saying these vessels are not located at ports. Again, that's coming from state TV and from one of these Iranian officials. Now, President Trump has made a lot of comments. He said that military action that would be taken to end the Iran operation would be more of the same. He also said the U.S. military is hitting Iran, quote, very hard, that these U.S. oil companies should be using the Strait of Hormuz. And he also said that he kind of wants to cut off trade with Spain, saying, quote, they have been very bad. So lots of comments coming through from President Trump. He also said he spoke to the leaders of various countries, unclear which countries and what they were talking about, though, again, very likely having to do with this conflict in the Middle East. If I find out which countries and why, I'll let you know. Back to you.
ACXP is continuing to go here. That's all right, Fabian. Here we go, 520. The breakout's on now. This is cleared 5. I think quite decisively. You never really know with these ones, but it's on the way up almost at the high of the day. Now it's showing 519, 520. High of the day is 532, but it spent all but no time there, as we just saw on the 5-second chart. Let's see if this one comes down to 5. Oh, my days. What a move up. There was a monster buyer in the 5 low teens, and that just rocketed up to 535. The tape teleportation is happening, as you can see on the left side of the screen there. The movement on the time and sales. Here comes 550, 547. The shorts are getting squeezed here. Can they kind of regroup into the $0.50? That's going to be something to keep an eye out here. But lots to trade today, guys. In the world of small cap gappers, trade this carefully. It's already, it's already shown its propensity to be insanely volatile, and that can catch you both ways, Joey.
All right, man. Yeah, let's take a look at some of the top performing sectors here, guys. Leading the way is going to be the energy sector, up 1.8%. We have the tech sector sitting in second place there, guys. And then we have the healthcare sitting in that third spot, down about 1/3%. Now, real estate bottom, consumer staples getting shellacked today, down 1%. And the financials, once again, down here, down 1.14%. So not too good of a look. But I wanted to pull up here is because I seen something very interesting on TTD. And I wanted to see, ooh, that's TTS. That's not what we want. Tatina Mines. Oh, I mean, damn. Speaking of mines, but anyways, all right, let's see. We had that nice pop. We were about 10 cents ITM on AMDL, but it doesn't look like that trend wanted to hold, nor did we have any form of supporting volume in order for us that to be sustained. Again, 10 cents worth of risk. I'm waiting for that 2-to-1 target to come into play, but we haven't been fortunate enough. We had some nice moves, a couple 10-cent moves, 1-to-1, and I just haven't taken anything off. So those have been resulting in full-on losses. Now, moving forward, let's see what we got going down. I can't tell you guys. Bang. All right. Not necessarily the signal that I wanted it to pick up. That's not good. We wanted to grab this signal here, but the performance on TD hasn't been bad TTD hasn't been bad whatsoever, considering, right? So we're going to be moving forward. This is also my algorithm that you guys have been curious about since January 20th to March 11th. Very positive. This is what we want to see. Okay, this is exactly what we want. We can head back over to the list of the trades. Actually, no, we'll go back to metrics here. Sorry for bouncing around. So we have 7 total trades. What's our profit factor on this one? Absolutely insane. 5.68 profit factor on that one. And what is our percentage metric from an accuracy standpoint? We have 7 trades. Never mind. It's not, I don't want to kind of delay this. So we got 1, 2. Wow, 5 for 7. Not too bad whatsoever. Let's take a gander at some of the winning trades here right out of the gate. Strong opening drive. You get that fill at the end of the day. Get this garbage out of there. And then here's another one here from February 11th. Couple losses, a lot of triggers on this day, but you are hitting some targets. Not bad whatsoever. And then we'll take a look at another big one. That's going to be on February 6th, a little over a month ago. Nice trigger right at the lows. This is exactly what we want, and we hit that 2-to-1 profit target same time intraday. All right, we'll go through a couple more names. How's it been performing? It performs best on a trending market, on trending stocks, right? Not trending doesn't perform that well. So moving forward, what has been really strong as of late? Maybe USO. Okay, let's take a look at how it's been performing on USO. Not too good, but not too shabby. Still slightly positive, and we'll take that. All right, nothing substantial, but there's nothing wrong if you're, especially if you have a vast basket of stocks. What's our profit factor? 1.58. Nothing compared to what what TTD was, but you're not going to complain about that whatsoever. Total trades on this one, 4. And we shoot about a 50% accuracy, still remaining positive. That's nothing to complain about whatsoever.
All right, lower highs on the 5-second now on ACXP. Buyer at 30 and 29. Current bar low is 29. Here comes into 41 again. Looking for this one. I'm printing here on OCGN. There is 2R on OcuGen. That's going to almost end the trade for me. We're going to get out most of the position here, and now we're going to save a piece for the dream. Let's see where this one goes. Back to ACXP. Okay, so it's holding current bar low, and it has. It's defended current bar low quite well. As I mentioned, current bar low is 531. I was going to put my out at 29. This one is still south of the $0.50 though, and spent almost no time above the $0.50. 541 is the current price. 554 current bar high. It's a doji candle, a candle of indecision. Top left of your screen right there. ACXP. So let's see if this one opens up. We're going to open up a new candle shortly. It looks like in about less than a minute. If it opens up a new candle, we're going to possibly get in here with giving it to prior bar low. But this one is very aggressive. It's on the move. It's cleared 5. It definitely has some selling at the $0.50. I don't know. My spidey sense tells me the majority of the shorts were setting up north of 5, given what we had been doing. Here comes the $0.50 again on this one, showing 49s. This one looks like it's going to squeeze. There it goes into the high day, 560. So there's a tape teleportation again. That's kind of what I mean by that. Look at the exuberance on this one, 567 high, 92%. Tisha said that this one has room to 619. So I didn't quite look at the the wider time frame, but I'm going to take Tisha's word for it. 619, she spots resistance there. 67 penny high, showing 62 and 63. Very, very strong on this one. A lot of volume is exchanged hands as well, about 62.25 million shares on the day. Fantastic look on the small caps today. Very unlike yesterday, man, where, you couldn't get a continuation for the life of you. It'd be nice to be able to spot the days where the continuation doesn't happen, because I was always a bias that it was periods. You'd get weeks, maybe, days in a row that there was like that weakness. But it seems to be day by day, and that's going to be the case. Yeah, there was no continuation yesterday. There was nothing. I'm assuming maybe because everyone's looking at oil. I don't know.
Pardon me?
Maybe everyone was looking at oil yesterday, right?
I think so. I think it's kind of like the silver trade, right? Those have definitely been in play. Silver was in play for that couple of months, and now you have oil.
It's in play today to the south side. 3.5. 3.5 and bleeding its own blood here.
What is?
Silver. SLV anyway.
Oh, SLV. Yeah. SLV. Yeah. I seen that earlier in the day. Oh, geez, I'm going to sneeze.
Oh, boy. Trust me, bro. It's by far the best strategy I have found. Shout out to my man, Mike P. DeRida. There goes OcuGen into the day high at 32s. We're still holding here, looking for continuation now. So on OcuGen, I just got to scroll back to see what my 2R and 3R are. 232. Allow me a second over here. Yeah, I gotta label these a bit better. Not gonna lie, I don't do the best job at this. Okay, 2R is 38. So 3R, excuse me, is 38. So we're saving now the rest of the shares for the high of day break above 32, which we're at right now. We're going to save it to 38. See if we can get 3R on OcuGen. Great hold, man, off the volume weighted average price and a clean move up. And there goes SXTP. Show yourself, SXTP. Where the hell is it? I took it off, didn't I? Yeah. Well, that's not good. SXTP going into the day high on the NQ, 292 high. This one looks like it's definitely on the way here for $3 with a 92 penny high. What a fantastic move today on small caps. 55, 56% on the way to 3. Don't forget about SAFX as well. It's setting up as a bull flag right now with about a 41 penny low and about, I want to say, 44 penny high. That's the high of the day. But SAFX could be going. ACXP is continuing to go, but still trading south of the $0.50 here. Shout out to Chuck of All Trades, member now for 16 months. If I have puts that's in the money, how long can I hold them after expiration? Hold on, don't they roll?
No, you got to roll them yourself. No, if you have puts that are in the money, then it's always best to close them.
What does it end up being, a short?
Well, if he has puts that are in the money, yeah, he's got the short correct, right? So then you'd probably be assigned that amount of shares.
That's what I thought.
Level.
That's what I figured.
So, I mean, that's why you're supposed to close your contracts before expiration.
Interesting.
All right.
All right, guys.
It's like #1 rule.
Here comes 235 on OcuGen now. We've taken out the high. We're a couple of shekels away now from that, what's it called, 2R. We're packing the patience over here on this bad boy. We're looking for a bigger move on OcuGen in the 38. Let's see if we can kind of squeeze up even into the $0.50 here. OcuGen's up 32.5%. It's trading at the day high. Pathix says open is moving. Let's have a look at open door. Hell, man, load. Yeah, not a bad look, Pathic. It's, not bad. Let's look at it on the 5. Open, doll.
Couple of days, all right.
Yeah, okay, we're coming into that range, though, Pathic. That 5 1/5, 5 1/4 has been a bit of a top, but your point well taken. We're very close to the high of the day on open door. What are we up on open? We're up 4%, which is not bad at all. Yeah, I don't think I'd personally trade this because it doesn't fit my style. It's definitely a range trade until we break up above the day high, and I think that would be taking out yesterday's high as well, the implied balance open at 930. But if we do, this one could be all gas. Check the 15 cup and handle, he says. Let's have a look. Yeah, I see that. Okay, not bad look. Not a bad look. Definitely a rounding shape over here. We need that consolidation, though, Pathic, at around 5 1/5, maybe 5.15 or so before we get that cup and handle. But that's a rounding shape. And if we take out that 5 1/4, open door could be all gas. Be on the lookout there.
All right, yeah, man, good stuff. We're just rolling through a couple of names here. There's IBIT performing relatively well for us. Not too bad. Someone asked me what I made this on. It's essentially a pawn script, but I plugged everything into ChatGPT and just refined it from there. But Jose's telling me to use Claude because I have this one and on this profile, so I have 3 in total that hopefully in the near future I can really get running. You don't run them all at the same time. So essentially what I have on this one, I don't know where I can show it to you. What you want to do is, so essentially on this one, what I was getting at here, Cicero, I told you that's what I told ChatGPT to call me, Cicero. But yeah, so anyways, aside from that, I have this in the inverted, and then I have a couple other ones that I've been working on at home. It's just not on this account right here. So yeah, I mean, I got 4 of them. Jose's got a whole bleep of them. So yeah, that's what you want, man. Just kind of make as many as you possibly can. He's spitting them out. Nice work there. I know Obi's been working on his as well too. Benner in the back was telling me he's got his that he's working on a couple as well. So just to have as many as you can get flowing is a good thing. I mean, we're stuck in this drop just to get back into this market here, guys. We pop up to 1272. It came down to 64. I mean, I would be surprised if I'm fortunate enough to hit target. It's just that I'm not getting that feel here in AMD. And with that being said, maybe we do get it. But we'll stay optimistic on this trade. If it comes and stops us out, then so be it. Then it's definitely not another one of our sessions that haven't necessarily been the best of trading. But regardless, ebbs and flow, you break through that no volume, and this is what I'm talking about when we're looking out for those breakout trades and we don't get the volume supporting the move, you tend to just go right back into the narrative, and that has been a downward channel. Not even a pullback to the volume weighted average price, a couple more fake outs maybe, but I'm gonna hold this as long as I possibly can, and then we'll have to get out of that one. CrowdStrike bouncing off the bottoms, not really. Downtrend still fully intact and not very much of a rebound here today. choppy market in my opinion, as Oracle is still continuously grinding lower, so sellers still fully engaged, and USO has been a nice steady channel to the upside. So opposite of essentially what AMD's been doing and a couple of the other names, USO, if you can get in at the lower end of the range, then it looks like the buyers are most definitely engaged. Now Robinhood is back up to 78. Not a horrible print over there. Maybe you just got to stick with some of these names that are somewhat stronger. Nice indecision print. Now you climb from a low of around 76.88 and you grab almost $1.50 right there. So not bad whatsoever. What has Coinbase been up to? I mean, not horrible. Stronger rebound than what we got here in AMD. Zscaler, have you found your way? Not yet. And how is our good friend Salesforce been doing? Oh, not very good, man. This one needs a pat on the back or something to get it really rocking and rolling. But it did break that downtrend. This is waterfall type price action here, guys. And I mean, if it breaks up and it holds this support level, then maybe you can find somewhat of its footing and find a little bit of a climb high. What was performing pretty good I seen earlier in the morning was the ADRs. Okay, so Alibaba, not a name that we talk about all the time, except for when the China names are in play. There it is. China. You're going right back towards entry price. You're a little bit north of that, so keep an eye out on some of these downtrends. There's multiple indecision prints at the lows that caught my eye. This one in particular, right? So you have that engulfing volume print, and then you form that indecision on a bullish print, and then sure enough, you do fail to establish a new high of the day, but you bounce right off of a trend line and right back in, and there you go. You breach a little bit, maybe you absorb some liquidity, form some more indecision, and then now you're right back up there. On this path, it might break through there. If not, it could establish a lower high and then head back towards the low of the day. But let's go AMD, man. If we can get a nice little pop-up in this name, then we're going to be rocking and rolling. I also, full disclosure, I have 25% more in this position than which I had in my previous two. So I did size up. We got caught in that liquidity grab. Look, we were the bottom wick out there, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Look at that. We were providing, as Obi would typically like to say, we were providing the liquidity right there, and now we're starting to get a little bit of a pop. But that's why I'm like, hey, you're not going to play any tomfoolery on me right now. We're going to get right back in, and spitefully, I'm going to add more shares.
I love it. Don't do it for spite, Joey.
Well, no, they did.
It's got to set up. It's got to set up.
No, I did. But no, I'm obviously, again, I did do it. You are, But I'm like, hey, the chance of it, so you would think you would get somewhat of a continuation, but at the end of the day, I'm like, hey, you get that curl around, you have that liquidity grab. If I'm going to be right on the thesis, they just wanted to absorb some more shares, I'm going to add more on the way back up.
Respect that. Guys, ASNS is going. It just touched the high of the day at 68 pennies, I believe. No, we on the current candle, we got to 67.70. The high of the day is 68, having been made at 11.50. It's very strong right now. It's got a couple of topping tail candles, though, as it looks like there's some selling coming in. So ASNS on the move here in a really good way. Be on the lookout for that. And Ocugen. 1 penny off 3R, but we waited. So I was really happy with this trade. This one really took a lot of patience. It was much slower of a mover, but it continues to do well. And now, as I view Ocugen, yeah, sure, it was a holdup at VWAP, but I'm getting a bit of a bias that this could be an upward channel. So if that's going to be the case, we can trade it like that, right? Looks like for the moment, 240 might be that critical area of resistance. And for the moment, again, depending on how the price action develops, 2.25 support. We're going to keep an eye out here on OCGN, but a great hold off the volume weighted average price and another 34% now in the Ville of Green. ACXP as well, trying to make another move here above that $5.50. This one has not given it up. It has been volatile, to be fair, and I'm assuming that volatility probably caught some people offside. If you've had the right read on this one, I think this one is still in play. It looks like that local area low, given the 1245 and the 1255 candle, is about 5 1/3. So 5 1/3 over here, and 531. So 531 low over here, 532 low over here. That tells you there's a big boy buyer at that 5 1/3. So an entry in and around that area probably gives you a stop till 5 1/4. We're going to take a bit of a break. We're going up to Adair at the big desk with news.
President Trump has been asked about the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently he was asked about the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. He said, quote, "It's working out very well." So Unclear if we're supposed to infer that the Strait of Hormuz has been reopened or is in the process of being reopened. But either way here, President Trump saying that the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz is, quote, working out very well. Back to you.
All right, guys, a couple questions here in the chat that we can go over. See that nice little pop-up there in AMD. The Nasdaq keeps knocking on the volume-weighted average price door and rejecting. All right, so if we can break through that and oil continues to sell, then maybe we can get a stronger move here in AMDL. Okay, so I had a question. Joe, where am I looking to get in on AMD? To be honest, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm already involved in this. We told you we were anticipating, not participating, the break of this channel trend, which we got, but we're not getting really that sustained move back towards the volume-weighted average price or any form of a deep pullback. What I thought I had in my favor here was the strong opening drive, but also look at this. Extremely bearish candle. You have buyers push price all the way up to 209. Right, 209.20, and then they push it all the way down to 207. So within that 5-minute span, it looked like the sellers were in full control there. Now, moving forward, we have an individual, who is it there? My boy Mac, asking, hey, Joe, at what amount of calls do you consider a call wall? I saw 27,000 and 37,000 calls this week, and next week at 410. So I'm not going to say that it's necessarily subjective. You said expiring next week, so let's head over there because what we want to remain is objective, obviously. You're seeing 27,000. How do you see two different 37 calls at 410 and another name? So what I look at is just essentially what is it relative to the rest? And then how does the stock react, right? So if you have a strike price and open interest that's double the amount of the average, right? Like here at 412, we don't really have anything. Like you can see it's like 3 times this, 4 times that, relatively close to what we have at 420. That's what we can classify as supply zones. Okay, so something that is standing out, that's just above the average, and I think that's when we can classify things. Want to find a better example? Sure, why not? I can explain that right now, and that's going to be going over to NVDA, and we were talking about this earlier this morning, okay? 294,000. Now, if we want to talk about call walls, that's substantial. Oh, you're lying. Oh, okay, never mind. I got too ahead of myself there. I was looking at the wrong numbers. 200 right here. 266,000. That's a call wall, okay? So if we are fortunate enough to break through these triple digits in NVDA 190 and 195, then sure enough, like you're not going to be able to breach that $200 mark, in my opinion, unless there's a different objective from the market makers or the larger participants. So you just want to look for open interest, essentially, in short, I know I was rambling on, that is substantially bigger than what you're seeing through the rest of the strike prices, okay? Well, am I? Maybe, yeah, I can see where you're getting at. Someone said but I mean, maybe a little bit.
I don't know what that means. I unblocked it because it doesn't seem racist to me at all.
I can see maybe a little bit there.
Luis?
Oh,
Luis is here. Okay. Now we're talking.
Maybe a little bit. I don't know.
I get the glasses a little bit. Yeah, exactly.
There, right? With the white there.
Yeah. I can kind of see that, man. All right. Let's bring in everybody's favorite small cap trader, Luis Barbado from the Real Trading office in Barcelona, Spain. Luis, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I like you become so glad when I comment the show.
And people will get excited, myself included, Luis, because you're a fellow small cap trader. Who could complain about that? So, Luis, we have a tradition now. We gotta find out the weather, but we got news for you. The weather is not that bad over here now, but tell us how it is in Barcelona.
I think you might have a better weather today than here. I think it's around 15 or 16, something like that.
Well, that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that's how high we're gonna get, but it's raining. Is it raining over there?
It's cloudy. It's not raining, but it has been raining for a couple of days, couple of days.
All right. Luis, let's start out by showing us what you traded today. What was your look on the overall market? And then we'll get into some questions.
Well, as we have some tickers that we traded today. Pre-market, we were talking about Domo, and we said, well, this is not our kind of setup because it's an earnings play with a high institutional ownership. But if it trades below BWAP, we will look for short on this one. Look at that. It's a clear BWAP projection just before the opening bell and all the way down. So that was a very good chance to go short there. If you took it, nice. Was not our kind of setup as I play because of institutional ownership, but it was a nice chance. If it would have gone over the pre-market highs, it's very dangerous to short this with earning, with easy to borrow is something that we always look. If the stock is easy to borrow, that means more people will go short in the key areas and they will get a stack and we might see some short squeeze. It was not the case. We reject the VWAP, pretty clear in the opening, and that was a nice short for you.
Excellent, Luis. Good look, good look. I just had a couple of questions for you. So I want to pick your brain a little bit about gauging market sentiment. So the small caps, I don't know how you feel. They've been quite strong, mostly to the, I'm speaking mostly to the long side. There's been a lot of follow through. Then on a day like yesterday, you know, you feel like it's just continuing with the trend. I took aggressive positions as I've been taking lately with some of these small, but there was no follow through yesterday. You kind of felt that, you know, we're hitting technical areas of resistance and the shorts were in control. You come in today and then you have ACXP moving, ASNS moving, SXTP, SAFX. What's your methodology, Luis, for gauging sentiment on the day?
Very interesting. First of all, as we spoke some other days, you have to take into account that statistically, shorts will win the battle on small caps. Gapping up over 20, 30%, 65% of the stocks gapping up will close red during the day. And with a huge fade, could be 30, 40, 50% from highs. So statistically, you are against the main trend of the stocks fading. But if you pick up the right stocks, because you're long bias trader, you might have some nice trades. Talking about cycles, we have like one tool that we measure. If I'm going to share a screen here, we'll go market analysis. And here I will tell you something, guys, you are on our intranet now and you have access to all these tools. So I will be very glad if you use it and you have to, if you have any questions to me, that would be great. I will help you as well. And we have these tools that it measure how many gappers and how many runners we have per week or per day. So if we are in a short cycle, let's say that most of the shorts take control of the market and we don't see follow through, as you say, continuation of the movement ups, we won't see a lot of runners. So you go, like, check, you use some filters here of volume, price, and anything, and you measure how many runners we had, and look at that. We go weekly, for example.
That's excellent.
Last week we have some runners, 3, that previous weeks we didn't have at all. So runners for us is a stock that moves around 25 minutes, 30 minutes up without any retracement. Okay, so that's what you're looking for, Sheriff. So it's good for you to wait for these weeks where you have more runners. And on the other side, if you check gappers, okay, we will measure how many gappers, over 20% we had in the whole market for that weeks, okay? The most gappers you have, the better if you are a small cap trader, of course. And in your case, you will have to look here. And if you see this high red close probability, that's bad for you because most of the stocks will close red and you want some continuation. So you need weeks like this where below average, stocks close red below average. In this case, it's like 50%, or in this case, look, it's 40% way below average. That's what you should look for. We call it market cycles. In order to have more runners, usually we have one that bars the market, you know, like ignition, one stock going up like 500% or 1,000%, then the next couple of days is the day that you will be more profitable, probably, Sheriff, because more stocks will be willing to go higher and higher because the traders are looking for these cycles. talking about yesterday in particular, I think we had a very, very strong sector with a lot of attention. So that took a lot of volume to that sector, oil and gas. So not that many continuation for me.
Oh, perfect. What's up, Louise? Hey, so you and I've had the privilege to have multiple conversations and pick your brain. I mean, we were talking about the correlation with some of the names that you're looking at with the IWM from a volume standpoint, how you specifically pick your tickers, and also how you really exponentially bet size with the higher grade opportunities and setups. But now I want to get into a little bit more detail. And what I liked that you and Shreve were talking about not too long ago is kind of in a segment standpoint. We know that we can break the intraday market down from, say, 9:30, the opening drive, to 11 a.m., and then 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock, and then the end of the day, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Now, 1 o'clock or to 4 o'clock, sorry. Do you find when you are looking for these shorts that there's a better segment within the intraday session in which the probability of the short is going to work a little more?
Absolutely. We have a lot of statistics and what period of the day we make more money going short, going long, and what is, you have also to understand what are the risks of doing it, no matter if you are profitable or not. Let's check an example. Pre-market, there is a lot of stocks that are going up and down, what we call pump and dump. Okay, that is true, but also you have to take into account that pre-market, we don't have halts. So the risk is very, very big if you short a stock against the trend, against the momentum, because there is no halt, so it can go exponentially up. So pre-market, if you are a short bias, be very careful that you don't have a movement like this. A stock moving up from 0.4 to $20 in 1 minute. And this is real. And we have been talking about this. This has at least 3 red flags to go short. Okay, one is a Chinese company, I think Hong Kong in this case, that doesn't matter. Second is a very low float, around 15 million, 20 million shares. And most important is a recent IPO. Okay, this stock has started to trade, let's see, February 2025, something like that, April 2025. So Chinese rising IPO, low float, it's very dangerous to short. But as a rule, I will not say you don't short pre-market, but if you short pre-market, take into consideration these red flags. Once the market has opened, the percentage again says 65, 70% of the stocks will fall, but be careful not to pick a stock with a very, very important news, a very important catalyst. Try to short against some resistance, knowing new air where we don't have resistance, and so on. VWAP, of course, is always important. So we like to short from almost the bell to 1 hour market. So let's say from 9 to 10:30. After 10:30, all the stocks should start to fade slowly if we are not in a strong stock as ACXP, right? So this is what you try to avoid. And usually around in New York is 12:01 lunchtime, the stocks still have already fall below VWAP. If it's holding VWAP at that time, there is a short squeeze. We have checked this in ACXP yesterday. The stock was moving up, then it went down, but without volume, it was holding VWAP pretty nice. Without volume, the price didn't fall. So that means at some point during the day, big players who trade short will have to close the position as the day goes by. So they will start closing, and we saw this huge break of highs of the day, and again here, and again here. So this is a multi-day play.
Excellent information, Luis.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. One more question here, because I like how you had the breaking down of each segment within the intraday session. Now, and I also like that you brought up an example of a different exchange stock. So with that Chinese ticker that you were displaying, do you have any form of an edge in a different market, whether it be the U.S. markets, the European markets, and or the Asian markets? Do you find much of a difference in there?
But when we are talking about Chinese or Hong Kong or Israeli companies, we are talking about companies trading in the U.S. market. It's not that we trade other markets. we should, because we know it's a huge potential, and in real trading, we can do it. We can trade almost every market in the world. But when we talk about other countries' company, we're talking that are traded in Nasdaq, right?
Okay, so ADR plays.
Yeah, ADRs.
I don't know if you.
For that, in our screener that you are able to use it from today on, we have the screener and we have this what we call the traffic light. So if I see here that country is red, that means it's from another country, not from US or Canada. If the market cap is red, it means that it's below some filter that we use. So that helps us to identify very fast if it's from another country.
Luis, I don't know if you can see it on the screen there. A viewer, Zion Lala, just super chatted saying, Luis B., great information, your biggest fan. That comes from one of our viewers, Zion Lala, a great guy, by the way. And you're getting a lot of love in the chat, Luis, about the information that you're giving us today. So really thank you for that. But I gotta circle back to something. You got me very excited, Luis, earlier when you said that we're gonna have access to your intranet now.
Yes, you already have access to our intranet. You can check all the data. That you have the screener and you have all the market data to analyze probabilities and everything.
All right, I'm going to be getting that.
And soon you will have also the trader analysis. You will see winning ratios, risk rewards, sizing the position, timing the trades, and everything you want.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Luis. Fantastic information, and thank you for making that available. We're obviously going to be using your tools on the show, so if anybody's interested, of course, check out Luis. Academia de Trading de Barcelona, day trading. He's also on X, so make sure to follow Luis on X. Always excellent information there. Thank you so much, Luis, for being on.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you to Luis. I have some news to talk about. I think biggest thing to mention here is Chubb. CB, as you can see, this spiked. This was like a $2 or $3 spike here for CB. CNBC reporting that Chubb is going to be working with the Development Finance Corporation, or DFC, to be the lead underwriter for the U.S. government-led program to insure ships going through Hormuz. So how they're dealing with the Strait of Hormuz with regards to insurance is Chubb is going to be the lead underwriter for that U.S. government program to help insure these straits passing through, these ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Again, this is working with the Development Finance Corp here, or DFC, with the U.S. government. So government, insurance related, and of course, Iran conflict related catalyst here for CB. AMZN also on watch. Apparently, I'm seeing reports from Reuters. The chair of the FCC, that would be Brendan Carr, is criticizing what he deems to be the slow pace of the satellite launches from Amazon. Back to you.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Great
All right.
stuff.
Yeah, we had a strong move up there in AMDL. Climbed up to 1277s and then came back down rapidly. So I mean, we were sitting in this for quite some time, and it's unfortunate that from approximately 1252 to 115 there, so 45 minutes or 30 minutes or so, just gone in the span of approximately 60 seconds. So yeah, I mean, it's what it is, man. It's just the stairs up, man, and you just get tossed out the window.
All right.
On that one.
Let's start the news segment, I think, because where are we? Oh, we're 20 after the hour over here, Joey. So we're a little late. So let's get down to work. Let's bring in, there he is. Let's start. For here, we're going to do a little editorial selection, because I think we're a little behind on time, so we won't go through all the, all right, let's see. Malt Book, I don't think is a big mover. Okay, so essentially the headline on Meta today, they bought Malt Book. Malt Book is a viral social media platform designed specifically for only AI agents, not humans. So they go in and they post and they talk to each other. The robots are taking over, guys. It's coming, okay? They're going to help create new ways for AI agents to work on behalf of users and businesses. That's what the acquisition by Meta was today. I just want to kind of skip that over. This is interesting, though, because this we're seeing a lot more of. And Brendo was actually telling me a lot more things are being blocked online now if you're sending agents to do your work. So this is what Amazon and the Perplexity tie-up was. A U.S. federal judge issued a preliminary injunction temporarily blocking Perplexity's Comet AI browser from accessing Amazon's website. This is an early legal win. So Amazon had actually filed the lawsuit in California, and their claim was
Perplexity was deliberately concealing the browser's identity and the identity of its automated agents so that they could scrape the retailer site despite Amazon's restrictions preventing agents from doing that. Comments functionality allowed users to search Amazon listings and potentially complete purchases directly through the AI assistant, kind of acting as an intermediary. We know that's what agents are doing. The court found Amazon was likely to succeed, hence why they allowed the temporary injunction. Usually that's saved for the actual result of the trial. Amazon's argument was as follows. Perplexity's agents pose potential security risks because they interact with protected systems with Amazon, including areas like that are tied to customer accounts that require login credentials. So they're worried about compromising that part of their business. Company said preventing unauthorized AI access was necessary to protect customer data, maintain the integrity of the system, safeguard the reliability of its online marketplace. Amazon has increasingly restricted access to its shopping platform from third-party AI systems. It's blocked dozens. OpenAI, it's ChatGPT, many other different agents are being blocked. It's not just Perplexity, but at the same time, the company, of course, is developing its own AI-powered tools, such as Rufus. If you've used the Amazon app, you know what I'm talking about. That's an integrated shopping assistant. It's going to be available on Amazon's website and the mobile app. That'll help you do shopping. So it kind of feels here, Joey, that maybe, you know, they're using the argument of security and all, and you're accessing your system, this and that, but they don't want you to use a different agent. They want you to use theirs.
Of course, which would make sense. As for Amazon, guys, from a discretionary play, this thing has been lagging for quite some time, and we talk about it from a technical standpoint, just how the Nasdaq has been holding up. But I think this is one of the names here that, in order for us to really put in that new leg higher in the overall market, you're going to need to see an increase in activity here. I don't know why we're not getting any more data or any information. So it's slightly slow, but we're still down currently around 14%. If Amazon decides to get rolling and some of the other larger participants decide to, then sure enough, I think that market's going to climb a little bit higher. But Amazon is a big player in the Nasdaq.
What do I think about Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea today, Jacques? I think Paris probably outduels Chelsea. I've seen varied levels of performance from Chelsea this year. I've seen the good, the bad, and there's been a lot of ugly, and I don't like, and London is certainly not blue. I think Paris probably takes this. Are they playing in Paris? Are they playing in Paris today? If they are, I think Paris definitely has the advantage. The one I'm going to keep my eye on, obviously, is Arsenal playing at 145 away at Leverkusen, and Real Madrid City. That's a heavyweight bout. This is a heavyweight stock, SXTP. Oh, baby. 63% topping tail into 325, pardon me. Still above 3. Keep your eye out on this one. It's been good all day. Essentially, you know, from the get-go, lost VWAP for a little bit, but all gas, no brakes. This is the 15-minute chart, by the way, on SXTP, not the 5. Let's go on to the next story, Joey. We got Tesla. Finally some good news coming in from Asia, not Europe, for Tesla. They reported 58,600 Model 3 and Model Y deliveries from the Shanghai Gigafactory in the month of February. That figure, the 58,600, that represents a 91% increase compared with February of 2025. That marks now 4 consecutive months of year-over-year growth. Partly driven, I should say, by low comparisons in 2024. Despite, though, the strong annual growth, I want to say February deliveries fell 15.2% compared to January. So sequentially, month over month, there's still some weakness there. Production and deliveries were also impacted by a partial assembly line shutdown at the Shanghai plant during the Lunar New Year. The shutdown was essentially tied to prepping the Shanghai Gigafactory for the new Model Y. We codenamed it Jupiter. Apparently, they haven't been making any of the new Model Ys in Shanghai. That I guess ends now with that whole with that whole assembly line now fixed up, Joey. So Tesla, ooh, baby. Let's find out where it's up on the day. We're up 2.1%, Joey. We're the strongest mix of a name on the day today, Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla. And I'm also reading here, Sharif, that China Auto Body CAM reports Tesla exported 20,000 China-made EVs in February, as the broader EV market sales fell 14.2%. Now, as for this, Sharif mentioned we're down 15.2%. And as for that, I mean, it's kind of been a mixed bag. Year over year, still slightly down. But I mean, it's not too horrible of a look considering the competition that they're facing globally, let alone in China as well.
Well said, Joey. All right, let's go on to the next story over here. Microsoft supports Anthropic in the legal fight over the Pentagon ban. So Microsoft basically applying here to basically to be a party to the suit. So they filed a motion supporting the AI startup, of course, known as Anthropic. They're urging a federal judge to issue a temporary restraining order against the Pentagon's decision to label Anthropic a supply chain risk. Say that again, Assassino. Okay. Microsoft argues the order would allow the Defense Department to continue using AI tools already integrated in defense systems while the dispute is resolved. Without the restraining order that Microsoft is seeking, Microsoft warned it and other contractors may need to immediately modify these existing products and contracts that are used by the military. So that doesn't work for them. That's going to possibly disrupt operations. The U.S. Department of Defense recently banned Anthropic's AI models, as we know, designating them a supply chain risk. The ruling does require, though, defense contractors to certify that they are not using Anthropic's models in work connected to Pentagon projects. Anthropic sued the U.S. government, calling the designation unprecedented and unlawful, arguing could jeopardize hundreds of millions of dollars that it has in contracts, and they're seeking guarantees that its models would not be used for two specific purposes: autonomous weapons or mass domestic surveillance, while the Pentagon wanted broad access for what they're calling lawful military operations. Where do you fall on this whole thing, and what do you think about Microsoft's move here?
I mean, I don't think I'm not really worried. I mean, I understand they can support them, but they can just say something. They can only vouch, right? They're still, whatever's going to happen is going to make a decision outside of their opinion. For me, I'm just curious, what is that going to mean for Anthropic's IPO? Are you going to see some less, is it going to be less attractive? Is it going to come in under, or I bet that it will come in oversubscribed, but at the end of the day, is it going to sway some investors from getting involved? Because government deals are absolutely massive.
They are, and they're sticky. They stick around for a little bit longer. Just from what I've seen from the tech industry, there's very little from tech that's on the Pentagon side. Yeah. They're almost all on Anthropic's side. You can kind of see why, because they don't want to catch hands either.
Absolutely.
Right? Like they're like, if it's them now, it's me tomorrow, so to speak, right? We'll have to wait and see how that whole thing unfolds, but it is an interesting development. Thank you very much. Waterford for the $5 super chat. He says, RVVTF, I'd love to hear what you guys think about this when it's got real news. Let's take a look at RVV. I'm just trying to put in the ticker. RVVTF is the ticker. It's a 5-letter. It's on the pink sheets. This is the daily. Let's flip to the weekly. Let's get a quick gander. Okay, so it's coming from a lot higher, to be fair. This is COVID. No, yeah, that is COVID. So everything was moving. It almost got to $1 in COVID, 72.11 high. It is a penny stock, and I literally do mean that in the strict sense, because it was sub a penny not long ago. Today, it's got a high of 3 pennies and a low of, is that right? 0.03 pennies. Okay, so it's got a low, no. The low is 0.0082 pennies on the low. So that's that wick right there. The technicals are not great. This is a nice breakout, a 2-day breakout. You break above, bless you. Bless you, Fabian. That 2.5 penny high, bless you, Fabian. The 2.5 penny high. So you've broken out through some area highs, that's kind of the good news. You're still below the 200 moving and exponential average on the weekly, which is about 6 pennies. I think you clear that. You probably get on a lot of people's radars because you cross the 200. I don't know anything about the company. Personally, I can just try to read what it says over here. Revive Therapeutics, Canada-based life science company focused on the research and development of therapeutics for infectious diseases and medical countermeasures. Never heard it expressed that way. Engaged in exploring the use of bucrelizumab
Lamine for the potential treatment of nerve agent exposure. Oh my God, nerve agent exposure? My goodness. And long COVID. I don't want to hear anything about COVID. Through its diagnostic divisions, it's elevating a point of care vitro diagnostic devices, aids in the detection of post-COVID-19 conditions or long COVID. Look, you know, I don't know what to say about the science because I'm obviously not educated enough to do that, but the chart here, it's seen better days. If you're asking locally, the fact that it's above 2.5 pennies is the start. I think, you know, gets into that 6 penny area and you cross the 200. I think I'm just going to keep the same opinion. That is a good look for you, as it will be on people's radars. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Let's go ahead and talk a little Oracle. Oh, baby, I feel like there's going to be opinions here. Adjusted EPS of $1.79 versus that $1.70 on revenue of $17.19 billion. That beats the $16.91. Revenue grew at a healthy 22% year over year, while net income came in at $3.72 billion. Compare that to last year when they took home $2.94 billion. That's a healthy increase there. Let's talk about their cloud business segment, because that's where the AI demand comes in. Oracle reported $8.9 billion in total cloud revenue. That's up 44% year over year, and that exceeds the 8.85 expected by the street. Cloud infrastructure revenue grew much more aggressively at 84%, despite the fact the top line number is about half. $4.9 billion in revenue, accelerating 68% from the growth that it had last year. So 84 this year, 68 last year. Highlighting, of course, strong demand for GPU-heavy AI workloads. Now, if you're talking about the revenue outlook, because market's forward-looking, they did boost fiscal 2027 revenue up to $90 billion. The prior look there had been 86.6, so a nice increase there. Now, when you're looking at fiscal fourth quarter, they guided $1.92 to $1.96 with revenue expected to grow about 19 to 20%. They also plan, Joey, to raise $45 to $50 billion this fiscal year to expand their cloud capacity and, of course, to meet that burgeoning AI demand. They do expect over 10 gigawatts of computing power to come online within the next 3 years. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think something that's overlooked here is their ownership in US TikTok, right? 15% on that front, not bad. But we also talk about their RPO. I think that the remaining performance obligations, obviously, you know. But anyways, I think what was really dragging this down is because it was such a substantial number. But we have to take into consideration, I think it's like 70% of it, 300 billion of that is to OpenAI.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Concentration risk.
So
I agree.
It's a massive concentration risk. But apparently, I read on 2 different sources yesterday that they're not going to have to go into the debt markets anymore and go through funding rounds. But then I read the opposite, and what you just said as well too. So it's kind of fishy on what they got going on there. The RPO is absolutely through the roof. I think it's around 500 billion, 300 of that being, yeah, it's like 538 billion or something along those lines of there, with 300 billion of that being to open.
I heard the exact same thing as you, as that if their RPO concentration was a bit more diversified, I think the market would rest easy.
Yeah.
But because I think OpenAI, a lot of people kind of feel maybe they don't have the same dominance in the space that they did about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago.
OpenAI,
yeah,
right?
for chat, yeah. So I definitely agree with that
it's
part.
like Sam Altman's doing enough funding rounds himself. Like, I mean, how many has he done at this point?
Altman? Oh God, he's done a few. I don't know exactly. I can find out.
How much share does this guy have left?
Oh, well, he didn't actually have any, remember?
Yeah.
And then he had to get it later as part of the deal, and that was the whole thing.
I actually don't own any shares.
Well, at one point, he does now, though.
He does now.
All right, Adara, I know you're waiting. Give it to us. Let's hear it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. I was not surprised that this gapped up, and I literally said if they beat revenue, they will gap up. I said this yesterday. I stood by it, and I'll give them a modicum of credit where I feel a modicum of credit is due. They beat revenue. First time this fiscal year they beat revenue. So good job, Oracle, and that's as much sarcasm as I'm going to give you guys, because I want to give you guys facts. I don't want to give you guys conjecture, because Oracle gives us conjecture. Let's get into it. So ORCL, I mean, I think you had like a slight sequential decline in hardware revenue, but other than that, obviously year-over-year growth across all these business categories. The same could not be said last quarter, so that I will say is a slight sequential improvement, but I don't like the idea that we're staking so much of this business on cloud, right? Like Joe kind of alluded to how cloud is so much of this business. Like 44% year-over-year growth in cloud. That's great. What happens if this slows down? That I'm not sure about. Now, Next infographic. Oracle's cloud infrastructure revenue. Now, you guys know, or you might know if you've heard me yap about it before, this was the crux of my short thesis in ORCL. Because my thinking was, look, Oracle guiding $18 billion this year for this cloud infrastructure revenue guidance, and then like what, over $100 billion through 2030? I need more than just one client to back this up. Now, as of right now, they could theoretically, you know, post this 5.65 bill they need to post in Q4 to meet this $18 billion outlook, but it's kind of shady. I was doing my math for how much I thought this needed to grow sequentially to actually get them to a point where they could beat that $18 billion guidance. I was saying they had to do over $5 billion this quarter. They did under $5 billion this quarter. Now, obviously, this did grow year over year, but the sequential growth compared to the sequential growth like earlier, not really what I was thinking we needed to see. So let's see if they can do 5.65 billion in cloud infrastructure revenue for fiscal 2026. Now, if they don't, I feel even better about the short. Okay, one more visual, because I want to talk here about RPO, because Joe, and I appreciate you mentioning this because I think it teed up nicely what I want to say about RPO, because I agree with you, kind of dicey having all of this in one company. Now, furthermore, like, oh yeah, RPO growth up 300%, whatever, year over year. It's still, I mean, hey, it's definitely slowing on a sequential basis. Like, you've got 455 for that blockbuster gap up Q1 2026, which was that September quarter. Then you've got Q2 2026, 523, still growing year over year, but slower growth sequentially. Then you actually see a decrease here in that year over year growth for Q3 2026. Now, furthermore, I did some research because I was curious. And so they only started reporting RPO like informally in Q2 2024, formally in Q3 2024. Now, Q2 2024 for Oracle, I looked it up. I'm like, why did they start reporting this metric now? They started reporting the cloud infrastructure because they tanked on earnings. What'd they do this quarter? Yeah, I just saw this here. Yeah, Iran reportedly wanting to retaliate for American attacks by launching offensive drones against the West Coast. That's coming in, reported by ABC News. For what it's worth, President Trump earlier today said that he actually doesn't think that they're going to retaliate in the U.S. So for what that's worth, take that how you will. He does not think this is going to happen, but it is reported that the FBI warning police departments in California that Iran wants to retaliate for American attacks by launching offensive drones against the West Coast. So be aware. I'll keep an eye on this for you guys if I see anything further from this. But again, President Trump already says that he doesn't think this is going to be the case. Yeah, so I think like the point I'm trying to make here is it seems like every time Oracle kind of has a rough quarter, they come up with a new metric. That's what happened with the first report of these RPO. It also happened again when they started reporting cloud infrastructure. So kind of a sketchy pattern. Also, Clay McGurk, or as Trump called him, Clay Moochgurk, he has kind of a sketchy past as well. Before he became co-CEO of Oracle, he was leading their cloud department, and there were multiple suits of like verbal abuse from him. And I'm not even going to get into what they were because I don't even know if I can say this on camera. It's really bad. So the fact that they would then make this guy co-CEO of the company gives you a lot of, raises a lot of questions about what they're doing over there at ORCL. So yeah, long story short, I'm not surprised by the gap up. I stand by the short thesis. I apologize for a very long yap, and also keep an eye on these drone plays like AVAV and RCAT. I'm seeing that these could potentially be ways to play this story here. Again, FBI warning police departments in California that Iran is looking to potentially launch offensive drones against the West Coast in retaliation for the U.S. attacks.
Even possible.
I thought you would have, like, if anything, they would have to go after Hawaii or something.
Yeah, that I would assume so, but
Right.
like that would require them to travel a long distance. Aren't they going to get detected on the
Right.
way?
That's what I was
like.
thinking.
Isn't the U.S. picking off
And do
these
they
drug
have-
boats? Like,
don't they have any ships left? They need some ships.
What is going
It
on?
makes sense to do that because they're not going to be able to get from literally Iran.
No,
to
it's quite insurgent. So that's what we've been saying
so?
forever, Katina, man. That's been my concern, that we change the style
Yeah,
of
but
the
then
war
how-
from
then-
conventional into that nonsensical thing.
If it's
but
insurgents, then how effective could these drones actually be?
if
you know
it's
what I mean?
insurgents, how effective could the drones be?
Actually, right? Because if it's already individuals who are already placed there, how
Yeah.
like how massive, how
Well, I don't
like,
think they'd
effective-
probably have the drones.
Right.
Yeah.
You think so?
Ooh.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to talk about effectiveness, obviously the loss of life is not good. But compared
No,
to
of course not.
actual military-made tools, it's not funny. But I
No,
mean,
it's not. It's of course,
Yeah.
but we don't mean to laugh about any of this.
No.
Obviously, this is not what
It's
we're
Katina man
saying.
made me laugh.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you're not laughing, bro. It's Palantir time, says Sean, and he's not wrong. Guys,
Or
this is the
ABAV.
reaction. This is the reaction on the market right now. We were trading about 608. The drop took us down to about 605. It's getting bought back up, 606 and change. We're still, generally within that zone. We talked about the low being about 604 and change there. We didn't quite make it down on that price spike down, so we're going to need more information, of course, on these reports. But yeah, that's completely out of the control of the market. This is a geopolitical issue now. Any new reports, of course, Adaira's at the big desk, and she will let us know. And before she left there, she was talking about AVV. AeroVironment drops after earnings miss and SCAR scare concerns. Let's talk a little bit about AVAV and what the report is about here. So they did report fiscal Q3 earnings below expectations. We're going to get to that in a second. We got to go back up to the big desk.
Okay, so the timing of this is I think really important here. So the ABC News article, again, the headline was that the FBI was warning police departments in California that Iran could retaliate for American attacks by launching drones at the West Coast. But I think the statement that, again, that was reportedly given by the FBI is really important. So, quote, we recently acquired information that as of early February 2026, Iran allegedly aspired to conduct a surprise attack using unmanned aerial vehicles from an unidentified vessel off the coast of the U.S. homeland, specifically within California. They don't have any additional information on the timing, method, target, or perpetrators of this alleged attack. So, long story short, this does support comments that were made by President Trump and the administration previously, suggesting that they wanted to enter Iran because they thought Iran was going to attack the U.S. So it's unclear if this attack is actually still in motion. Again, this reportedly was being planned by February 2026. Targets are unspecified. Timing is unspecified. Whether or not this is still happening is unspecified. But I just wanted to provide some context. Again, that's not like in March. That was as of early February 2026. Again, reported by ABC News, citing FBI. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Okay. I get a lot of emotions right now in the chat. Completely understandable, but any news that we get, we will convey it. We never really take an opinion on the veracity of breaking news because it can change, as we saw yesterday, of course. Let's talk about AVAV, and then if Adaira has anything else, she'll obviously chime in. Company posted EPS of 64 pennies, Joey, on $408 million in revenue. That missed on the top line, on the bottom line. 68 pennies in EPS was what the street was looking for on $476 million in revenue. That is a big miss there from a revenue number. Despite the miss, revenue still did grow sequentially year over year, up 143% because they printed $168 million last year. But it was largely boosted, though, by their acquisition of Blue Halo. So obviously, a company can acquire its way into growth. That's not unheard of, but you feel like maybe the organic operations, aside from the acquisition, really is not moving the needle. We're going to have to keep an eye out. They reported a funded backlog, though. This is as much demand that they can't meet at the moment. $1.1 billion. That remained flat sequentially, month over or quarter over quarter. Pardon me. So that really hasn't changed anything in the kind of demand that they've been seeing. The SCAR program, though, which stands for Satellite Communications Augmentation Resources for the U.S. Space Force, that contract alone is valued at $1.7 billion. It's become a key focus for investors and a potential risk, of course, for growth expectations. Now, there were some contractual uncertainty here. The company acknowledged that part of the SCAR options previously included in the backlog, which they said was $1.1 billion, they're no longer expected to be awarded. So do we look at that $1.1 billion with, suspicious eyes, or do we discount something off that? That I don't have the answer to, obviously. Management emphasized that customer demand for unmanned and autonomous defense systems still remains very strong. I was reading a summary of the earnings call, and the earnings call was very bullish by management. They weren't really trying to tamp down expectations. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Now their guidance, Joey, they adjusted their guidance. They trimmed their fiscal 2026 revenue outlook to $1.9 billion,
Prior to that, they had been guiding 2, so one has to ask why. That obviously signals slower near-term growth. Fiscal 2025 revenue, though, is supposed to come in about $821 million. With the EPS guidance for the year, that was lowered as well. $2.75 all the way up to $3.10. The previous guide was $3.40 to $3.55. Now, mind you, they did acquire a new company, so that could eat in a little bit into profitability. But the new outlook implies fourth quarter EPS at $1.50. Again, Joseph, below $1.80. But as I was saying to the Katina man today, I mean, I don't think there's too much in the way of disagreement about where the direction of modern warfare is going.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it, at least for the moment, is drone based.
That seems to be the case.
If that's the case, is this a buying opportunity here on AVAV?
Well, according to the CEO, I think he's implying yes. What he says that makes them stand out from the rest of these companies is that they're thinking about the production line 2 or 3 years down the road. They have the product line capability to get things done today across multiple of their products. So, yeah, it could be a good buying opportunity. And obviously what we got escalating here between Iran and the United States, it could be a good potential buy. But the technicals right now aren't necessarily saying that.
Fair. Yeah. Oh, well, I don't think anybody can disagree with that.
But I mean, dude, listen, if anybody's all into that stuff, you know, it's probably me. There is, I think, and I'll just say this, if this is my opinion, we went over things about like guns per capita. I think like ground invasions in the U.S. are too difficult just due to the fact you'd have to come in from Canada. And lives lost. Right? They don't want to deal with that. But it's just like the average person, there's more guns than people, which makes it more difficult, right? Like to invade, I think, some part of the Western Hemisphere.
I agree. All right, let's go on to the next story. Oil, obviously, surging again. I'm not going to bore you guys about the blocking of the Strait of Hormuz or anything like that, but we know that the Iranians now, if you believe some of the reports, are laying mines. The Americans are responding by attacking some of those mine-laying ships.
Oh, sorry, one more thing here, Triv. Yeah, Danny Boy with the $2 super chat.
Danny Boy.
Yeah, he also says Bass Pro Shops sells inflatable canoes too.
Oh, baby. Yeah, that's it's not a good look. All right, let's talk about this. So the part of this I want to focus on right now is the IEA is reportedly considering the largest release of emergency oil in the history of the IEA. It could exceed the 182 million barrels that they released back in the spring and I think it was the spring of 2022 when the whole Russia-Ukraine thing happened. They released 100 million barrels, potentially surpassing 100 million barrels in the first month alone. Just to give you an idea about what they have, member countries of the IEA, they currently hold 1.2 billion barrels of emergency public oil reserves, along with another 600 million barrels in industry stock held under government obligation. So a joint private-public combined holding here of 1.8 billion barrels. That seems to be a lot. Obviously, probably not for that long, given the world demand here, but nice to see that there could be some more supply put in, but this is very much a Band-Aid on a larger wound, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but at least I think Obi might have mentioned it this morning, or Jose or Sean mentioned it. At least Donald had somewhat of a plan to kind of get this ball rolling to hedge the increase in oil prices, which I think is really, really important. So I really like that. I like that fact.
All right, let's go on to the next story. CPI coming in better than expected today. So traders view the Federal Consumer Price Index as a critical, of course, macro catalyst that could reshape expectations of Federal Reserve policy and equity market direction. So look, I have them here. Give me a sec so I can get the exact numbers accurate. I just have to find them. All right, and I'll get to it in a second, but the headline CPI was expected to come in 0.3% month over month with a 2.4% year over year increase. Core was supposed to come in at 0.2% month over month with a 2.5% year over year increase. I think we were lower on both numbers, weren't we? I don't remember, man. In line. All right, so now the situation is now we either have lower or in line expectations and we have a weaker jobs report. So does that kind of change the narrative? We all remember the non-farm payroll showed a net loss of 92,000 jobs, which sharply missed the expectations for 50,000 new jobs added. So now, you know, can you make the argument, Joey, that we've got, I don't want to say a slumping jobs economy, at least because it's one print, so let's not get too carried away because the other print was stronger. But if you're trying to make the argument for rate cuts, are you looking at this number?
I mean, it's such a weird push and pull I think the Fed is in, right? Like you have to, they have the dual mandate, obviously, maximum employment and price stability. Does the Fed need to be a little bit more flexible with that 2% goal, and then you losing, obviously, about, what was it, 90,000 jobs or 92,000 jobs? I think they're in a tough position. I think with the new Fed chair, he's definitely going to be leaning towards a political entity, to be honest with you, considering he was hired by Donald Trump. So I think at the end of the day, you can build a case, but if Donald Trump wants rates cut, then he's probably going to get it from Warsh.
All right, yeah, here we go. So month over month for February, 0.3 versus the 0.3. A U.S. core CPI year over year, 2.5 versus 2.5. February CPI, so not core, but just regular, 2.4 versus 2.4. February, regular CPI, not core, month over month, 0.3, 0.3. So very well in line. Adara, give us your take on CPI.
Yeah, my take doesn't have very much to do with CPI specifically. I just want to kind of remind everybody what's coming on Friday, because Friday the 13th has 4 massive economic data releases in the morning. But yeah, I mean, CPI, like, totally in line. It's rare, I think, where we get these prints where everything is exactly as we expected it to be. And I think that's why the market didn't react too much, probably relieved after what happened with the excitement with NFP on Friday. But yeah, PCE, we're going to get 8:30 a.m. on Friday, forecast 2.9%, previous 2.9%. So we're expecting this to be exactly in line. The month over month CPI print, we're expecting to be a bit cooler. Core, though, we're actually expecting to be a little bit hotter on the year over year for PCI. We're also going to be getting GDP, second estimate for Q2, 1.4% is the forecast. So we're still expecting a little bit lower here. GDP prior 4.3%, I think, for like the prior quarter. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. Those are the 8:30 numbers, PCE and GDP. Then at 10 a.m., you get University of Michigan consumer sentiment. We are expecting a bit of a decline in consumer sentiment. 55 is the forecast, 56.6 the prior print. JOLTS job openings also at 10. We're expecting greater job openings. 6.75 million is the forecast. Prior was 6.54 million. In around 37 minutes at 2:30 p.m., President Trump to visit Thermo Fisher Scientific. So just be aware, he will be speaking at some point soon. Get ready here for those comments. That'll certainly keep you guys posted once we get those. It'll be in 35 minutes after the rundown. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Let's talk a little AMD here. Up a little bit less than 1% on the day, down 1/3% since we rang the bell. AMD CEO, the much beloved Dr. Lisa frickin' Su, is scheduled to meet Samsung Electronics Chairman J.Y. Lee in South Korea next week to discuss cooperation on securing supplies of high bandwidth memory, HBM. That's all the rave right now. Discussions are coming as demand for advanced memory used in AI accelerators and data center GPUs surges across the industry. HBM has become a critical bottleneck for AI chip production. And as I learned yesterday, apparently RAM or NAND, HBM, almost half the price of the server, which I couldn't believe. For server racks, about half the cost is tied up in RAM. We know memory technologies using HBM, DRAM, and NAND are seeing strong demand as companies race to build AI training clusters and next-gen data centers. The surge, though, Joey, in AI investments turned memory suppliers into a strategic partner for some of these chip designers, like obviously Intel, AMD, and Nvidia, making supply agreements increasingly important between the two entities. Lisa Su's visit to South Korea will also include meetings with Naver CEO Choi Soon-yeon, and Naver operates South Korea's largest internet portal and search engine, and discussions are apparently ongoing and are expected to broaden cooperations between the two companies. But she visits March 18th, and that coincides points with Nvidia's annual GTC developer conference, which again runs for 3 days, from 16 to the 19th. So 4 days, 16, 17, 18, 19 in San Jose, California. We're going to pause for a second. We're going to get Joey's opinion, but we got to go to Adair.
Yeah, quick Rivian story here. Not too much of a move on this. I did mention earlier that we had RJ Scaringe, CEO of the company, talking about some robotics announcements here on X. Now Reuters reporting that Rivian's automotive spinoff, which is a spinout, which is called Mind Robotics. It's going to be the robotic spinoff or spinout of Rivian Automotive. Mind Robotics apparently valued at $2 billion in a $500 million Series A round. So keep an eye on RIVN. They now have this spinout called Mind Robotics. Looks like it's doing some fundraising. Back to you.
Did you see what Hypercube wrote?
No, what
Hypercube, you're a wild one, brother. I like it. I'm standing outside holding a 10-foot bullseye. If they're coming, let's get it over with. I'm assuming you're on the West Coast, Hypercube. You made me laugh. Let's not laugh about that, though. Nobody wants to catch hands like that.
No, I think that's a good strategic move by Lisa Su and company. But I also like here, Sharif, as you were mentioning, the Naver deal or the conversations with the CEO, considering it's the country's largest internal portal and search engine. So that could be another deal that Lisa Su can make for, obviously, the chips and everything along those lines. So I like what she's got going there. From the data center standpoint as well, too. So
you got to get those contracts, lock in some of those prices.
Right? I think that'll be big for AMD.
Let's talk a little Target. So Target cut prices on 3,000 products, and according to the article, they're doing it to drive demand. Shocking, right? You lower prices, you drive demand. I mean, I've never heard of that. Target announced price cuts on more than 3,000 products, aiming to reinforce its position as a value, retailer and attract cost-conscious consumers. The discounts range from 5 to 20%. They're going to apply to categories like everyday essentials, apparel, footwear, as well as home goods. The initiative is going to begin in March and is going to continue through the spring, a period when retailers often compete aggressively for consumer spending. The strategy here is obviously to boost traffic and support their long-term growth by, developing a loyal customer. The price cuts, though, come as major discount retailers ramp up competition for budget-sensitive consumers. We're going to pause for a second. We got to go back up to Adara.
Yeah, guys, more oil headlines here. U.S. State Department warning that Iran and Iran-aligned terrorist militias might be planning to target U.S.-owned oil and energy infrastructure within Iraq. So not within the U.S., but within Iraq. They've also reportedly warned that militias have targeted hotels frequented by Americans within Iraq, including the Kurdistan region. So again, U.S. State Department saying Iran and related militias could be targeting U.S.-owned oil and energy infrastructure in Iraq, as well as hotels that are frequented by Americans within Iraq. Back to you.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I mean, because I don't know if you remember the mid-2010s, when ISIS was running rampant in that part of the world, Iran had like free reign into Iraq. And there's a huge Shiite, which is the type of Muslim that most Iranians are, that live in Iraq, although they're Arab speaking, they don't speak Farsi, but there's a huge cultural connection between those two groups. And the Shiites in Iraq are the majority. The Sunnis are actually the minority, and then the Kurds. It's like
the Kurds are the one who is fighting against
exactly
ISIS.
So Iran can run rampant in Iraq if they're given the opportunity. Really that sucks. Let's continue on with this. So the price cuts come as major discount retailers ramp up competition. The companies have leaned heavily into value-focused pricing strategies. That's kind of forcing traditional retailers to respond with both promotions and discounts. And just to give you an idea of what Target's revenue was, they reported $104.78 billion in trailing 12-month revenue. That actually slowed. The 3-year average revenue growth is actually down 0.7%. So clearly here they need something to move the needle. Profitability metrics show some pressure compared to historical levels. For example, their gross margins at around 27.93%. Their operating margins are 4.88%. Both of those metrics, believe it or not, are below historical averages. And last but not least, Joey, operating margins have declined about 7.8% annually over the past 5 years, and insiders have sold
more shares without purchases over the past year, which may raise caution with some investors.
Yeah, I mean, from a stable standpoint, I think there's a couple of names I would pick up before Target. It has been performing, but we know with product price cuts on 3,000 products, that's going to really, really hinder their margins. So just look out for that in the next report.
CarMax faces, oh, wow, it's 201. I was just sitting there ready to go. All right. So I guess it's all over.
All over but the crying.
All right, guys, the small caps were in play today. I feel like maybe they're a little bit off the highs right now. We'll just take a quick look at some of the names that we've had on. It looks as if, ACXP still trading towards the highs. ASNS coming back down into VWAP. What's it